Hey, Undisputed listeners. Before we start the show, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app right now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. Download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com now. Let's start the show. Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it. Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Hope you guys had a great weekend. How are we doing this morning?
It'll make them look good. Yeah, it'll make them look good, don't it? Do they look good, yes or no? How?
No.
Really?
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it today. They don't deserve it.
The Bengals?
For once, I was rooting against them, and they won anyway.
Yeah, it's just when you want
about
them
to pound
to
the table
win.
for the Bengals. You beat the Bengals.
Yeah.
The Broncos, as you call it.
I didn't do it.
Okay.
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it? You could, though, maybe a little fist
No.
bump for your guy, Jalen Hurts, because, Skip, I have a feeling you're going to like what you saw, because Hurts' first career NFL start could not have gone much better. The Eagles were able to upset the Saints 24-21, thanks in large part to the rookie quarterback's performance. Hurts passed for only 167 yards and one touchdown, but he ran for 106 yards as well. Despite the win this morning, Doug Peterson said he is still undecided on who will start next week against the Cardinals. So, Shannon, what percent of the credit for this win should go to Hurts?
Skip, who Doug Peterson think he's fooling? But talk about I'm still undecided.
The Cardinals.
He ain't fooling himself, Skip. Because first of all, Skip, if you look at this game, this is the best game the Eagles played as a team. I'm not talking about offense. I'm talking about as a team. Offense, defense, special teams. I thought Doug Peterson called a great game, except that first fourth down play. I'm like, what the hell are you doing on that one? But other than that, Skip, this is the most complete game that we've seen them play all year. And now he's undecided. Considering that he couldn't decide, like, man, do I bench Wentz? Do I leave him in for another series? Do I bring him out? So now you seem to have found a spark, the spark that you were looking for in Jalen Hurts. Skip, I won't minimize the importance of Jalen Hurts and what he did yesterday, but the defensive scheme that Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator of the New Orleans Saints, Skip, is baffling to me. Now, the New Orleans Saints have gone 55 games. Skip, that's over 3 years without allowing a 100-yard rusher. They gave up 2 in the same game yesterday. Why would they treat him like he's a pocket passer and leave the edges unprotected? Guys getting out of the lane, he's taking off. The one thing that Jalen Hurts did, Skip, he was decisive. That first guy wasn't there, I'm gone. And they're waiting, Wentz, Skip, he can do things with his legs that Wentz, even though Wentz is mobile, Skip, he's not Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts can just do things with his legs that Wentz can only dream about doing. And he was I guess Dougie says, look, if it's not there, son, get gone. And what did he do? The edges were there, he got gone. Left, right, up the middle. I didn't get the game plan, but that's not to take anything away from him. If you make a mistake, it's my job to capitalize on it. And that's what I remember when I was in 2000, Skip, we was challenged to score offensively. And the thing that Brian Billick says, look, we challenge right now, but when they make a mistake, let's make them pay for it. And that's what he did to the New Orleans Saints. When they made a mistake, they got out of there, got responsibility unsound. He was gone. He made a couple of big throws, made the one big throw to Alshon Jeffrey. They blew the assignment on Jalen Reagor. Skip looked like they were going to come down and play lurk. They was going to override the Reagor. The guys got tangled up, and he goes for 41 yards. Give him credit. But I think him playing well offensively sparked the defense because they got 5 sacks. They got a pick. They forced a fumble. Special teams were flying around. So he deserved the lion's share of the credit because that was the only difference. I did think they called a little bit more runs. Normally we don't see Sanders get those kind of runs. But he hit his head on the goalpost. Again, Alexander tried to backdoor it. I don't know why he tried to backdoor it, Skip, but that's what you do. when a team makes a mistake, you hit your head on the goalpost and it'll teach them next time. But he gets the lion's share of the credit. So if you want to give him 65, 75, 85, whatever the lion's share of the credit is, I'm going to give it to Jalen Hurts.
Lion. I give Jalen Hurts 90% of what happened yesterday. He changed everything for the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate the Eagles, but I love me some Jalen Hurts. I said, tweeted, posted on that draft Saturday, Jalen Hurts will be better than Carson Wentz. I'm not saying he has a better arm. I'm not saying he's taller. I'm not saying he's bigger boned. Carson Wentz
he'll play the position better.
He'll just perform better at the position than Carson Wentz will long term. I've believed it with all my heart and soul since I watched every snap Jalen Hurts played at the University of Oklahoma, especially that second half at Baylor a year ago, November, when they trailed 31-10 against the best defense in the Big 12. You can say it's just the Big 12, but Baylor had a really good defense. And Jalen Hurts lit them up in the second half for 305 total yards. He can throw it, and he can definitely run it. And the problem that Dennis Allen and company had going into this game is when you just watch it on tape, you can't get a sense of just how imposing it is because he doesn't look fast on tape. He doesn't look fast on television. He is effortlessly
more of a
fast.
glider. He reminds you, he runs kind of like Derrick Henry. He takes the long...
He does.
And he's chewing up ground.
He is moving much quicker than the eye.
Yes.
You try to look at it and you say, that's not much. And he timed 4.5, which is pretty good.
Kyle and Lamar Jackson look fast.
Okay, they look fast because their feet are moving fast. Jalen is a longer strider. He's more effortless. I'm not saying nonchalant. It's just effortless.
Right.
He runs with power. He can run through people. He can take punishment and give punishment. Again, I don't love this for the long term.
Right.
But for the short term, for yesterday, for me, the degree of difficulty was so high against him yesterday, as you talked about on Friday, it was almost like sabotage, like you've been thrown into a fire that is going to scald you. And instead, to me, in rookie debuts, and I'm going to get into more of this in just a moment here, but I cannot remember a more impressive rookie debut under the circumstances than what that young man did yesterday against a New Orleans team that had won 9 in a row, did have the statistically best defense in pro football, did have the hottest defense in pro football, one that had allowed only 231 yards a game in its last 3 games, had led the league in sacks over the last 4 games. And would you believe that Jalen and company through 3 quarters had 359 yards? They were chewing them up and spitting them out. Jalen Hurts, you could tell from the opening snap, was not afraid of the Saints. Again, he respects the Saints. I'm not saying he's just scoffing at the Saints, but you could tell immediately he was in charge of the huddle and in charge of his own poise on the field against a really good football team that absolutely devoured Tom Brady at Tampa Bay and absolutely annihilated Matt Ryan twice in 3 weeks.
They were devouring everybody.
Just everybody. And so you're up against a situation in which, as I pointed out Friday, your 2 captains, Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey, your 2 longtime stalwarts on your team, had both spoken up and spoken out in favor of, pledged allegiance to Carson Wentz. We love him. Fletcher Cox went so far as to say he's my best friend on the team. Whew, that is hard. And I told you Friday, Jalen Hurts had the audacity, the gall, the guts on, I believe it was Thursday, to his media session, to wear a Houston Astros hat, the symbol of the biggest cheaters in the history this side of the Black Sox in professional baseball, Major League Baseball. He's from Houston. He was representing his hometown. His father was his high school coach. And he said, no, this is who I am. And you can like it or you can lump it, and I'm going to play it. And so he goes out against all this degree of difficulty, and right away he's driving them until that ill-fated fourth down where they tried the read option. It just went nowhere. It got blown up in the backfield. But he ate up 8 minutes of clock, and he kept converting third downs. And I'm like, whew, here we go.
Right.
And then he drives the second drive, if we could see the two plays. You mentioned the play to Rager, but he did hit Rager. Again, his poise was supreme yesterday. This is the first one now. He's wide open. They completely blew the coverage. But again, he was quick to find him. He didn't get sacked against the sack masters, the Saints, right? And then there's the fourth down play. That's 4th and 2. Now, that's a 4th and 2 throw, and he just got clocked. As you see, you see what happens. He just got blasted right in the face as he threw the football. And it was on time, and it was on target, and it was where Alshon, of all people, resurrected from the quote-unquote dead, could catch it, put it away, and score with it.
I'm surprised Lattimore played him like this, because if you look at Alshon over the last couple of years, that's all he catches, back shoulders.
But he has been nowhere to be found, okay? So then we go to the next scoring drive, which is impressive. They get backed up 2nd and 11 at their 3-yard line. This is a Carson Wentz recipe for disaster in the end zone. And if we could see what Jalen then did with this football, quick pump.
That's Hendrickson.
Okay?
Skip, he has contained. Remember how we talked about the Cowboys?
But this is the effortless glide where you better get out there because he's going to turn that corner on you. Was that not the biggest escape out of jail that you could get?
Skip, but
check this out.
But I think that's Hendrickson. I think that's his last name. But Skip, he doesn't have responsibility. He has the quarterback. So if you take one step, it's over.
It's over with Jalen Hurts, just like it would be with a Kyler or Lamar, except it doesn't look the same to your eye test, okay? And then here we go on down the field. Then 2 plays later, that sets up Miles Sanders just gets loose and goes 82 yards for a touchdown. As you said, hit his head on the goalpost.
Watch what Quan Alexander tries to backdoor. You going to show this? Watch what he tries to do. He tries to backdoor. Why? Well, Skip, why would you do that?
You start to get a little bit Jalen Hurts conscious, like, are you going to keep it? Are you going to keep it? Nope. It's gone into the belly of the beast, and the beast is loose.
The one thing you can't do with a speed guy, Skip, you can't backdoor him, Skip. You let him get a full head of steam. He's gone. That's too much pressure on the safety. There's no way the safety can make that play when that guy has a head of steam like that.
And then late in the first half, they have no time. They have 57 seconds left, and he makes 2 plays with his feet that give them a chip shot field goal, which Elliott missed, or they could have had another 3 points. But check this out. This is just pure scramble. Easy, effortless poise. I think I'm going to go. And all of a sudden, he's beating people around the corner, and he's running for 26 yards.
Yeah.
And then he scrambles again for 12 more yards.
Right up the gut. You get out your lane.
Right up the gut.
Here you go.
Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Remember, he's packing a 225-pound wallop, so he's like Taysom Hill. He may not look as big as Taysom Hill, but he is delivering that kind of wallop. And they always say, pound for pound in the weight room, that guy is the strongest. I can believe it, Skip,
but anytime you're dealing with a guy that has legs like that, you never run past him.
Nope.
Because if you run past him, he's going to jump out the window and take off on you, and that's what they did. Normally, when you get even, you flatten out. You're like, okay, I'm far enough. And like I said, I don't know the game plan, but clearly, Skip, even if you hadn't seen a whole lot of him on tape in the NFL, you watched enough of him at Alabama, you watched enough of him at Oklahoma to know that he has legs. And if you give up contain, he will make you pay. If you run past him, he will make you pay. He didn't throw the ball particularly well, Skip. He was, 17 or 30? But when you make the kind of mistakes that New Orleans made, a kid like this, Skip, that has nothing to lose, and I think Dougie Peterson said, son, look, if your first read is not there, God gave you these legs. Take advantage of them. And he took full advantage. Skip, I'm surprised. Like I said, think about it. They've gone 3 years and not allowed a running back to gain 100 yards.
56 games.
They gave up two in the same game.
And it was because of the read option, because 82, we just saw, went to Miles Sanders on one play.
Right.
But Jalen was getting them in chunks. His 106 were more impressive to me than Miles Sanders' 115.
Because they were gut punches. Because you, Skip, it was 3rd down, and all of a sudden he had the 1st down. But if you look at Miles Sanders, Skip, he ran for $115 on 14 carries. He had 56 yards on 16 carries over the last 2 games. So what they did, they made a conscious effort to get. They should have gave him more. But they made an effort to try to run the football as opposed. And like I said, Skip, The line, I think the line, Skip, Jalen Hurts was able to get out of harm's way. When some of those rushes, they would have got Carson. Carson would have held on to the football trying to make something. And I think this might be the best thing to happen to him because he's going to come back in and he's going to have to realize, Skip, I just can't hold the ball. Yep. Guys that hold the ball get sacked. Yep. Guys that hold the ball end up holding the clipboard.
They do.
That's what's going to happen. You saw Big Ben when they forced him to hold on to the ball, they started getting closer and closer. They started putting him on the ground.
All right, back to degree of difficulty for this young man. Can we hear what our man Daryl Johnson said on the Fox telecast with 11:16 left in the fourth quarter? Can we just hear this just to frame what this young man, Jalen Hurts, was up against?
I've never seen a rash of injuries during the course of a game the way that they have fit Philadelphia this afternoon. This is unbelievable. Holy cow. I've never seen anything like this.
Holy cow. Darius Slay, their best cornerback, he limps out. And he had a head injury. We had Avonte Maddox, their starting corner, went out with a knee. Rodney McLeod, their safety, went out with a knee. And then in order, Malik Jackson, Derek Barnett, and Josh Sweat went out of the front seven. It's so many injuries that all of a sudden it's on a silver platter for Taysom Hill to get him back in the game. Jalen did make one mistake late as they were trying to kill the clock. You just got to hold, you got to protect because they're going to try to get it out of your hands.
They're punching.
And they punched it out of his hand. But that was the only mistake he made the whole day. And even yet and still, they hung on and controlled the clock enough that they put away a team that is hard to put away, that will come back on you.
Hey, Skip, you know they were that Cowboy onside away from you. I don't know how the Saints missed it. They had three guys, and there was not an eagle in sight. And somehow the linebacker, Riley, comes screaming in, and he gets the ball from three Saints, Skip. I'm like, I know this is not going to happen again. And everybody's doing the exact same thing the Falcons did. What did they do, Skip? They back it up, and the ball somehow caroms and hit the guy's foot and bounces out. And I was like, are you kidding me? Y'all saw this play out before, and y'all doing the exact same thing.
Okay, so to me, when I add up all the degree of difficulty, I say, show me a better rookie debut under worse circumstances than that one. If we go back to Cam in 2011, he just lit it up. It just stunned the world. Right. But it was at Arizona. They lost the game 28-21. He threw for 422 and set a bar that he's never been able to live back up to. Yeah. His first two games were 422, and then he goes home and throws for 432 against Aaron Rodgers. But he never lived back up to that because he's never had a 400 since then.
Right.
Okay, but again, they did lose that game. And then I look at Tom Brady's first start. He got thrown into the fire, obviously, after the Bledsoe injury. They just annihilated Peyton the next week at Foxborough. Right. It was Peyton's fourth year, and he was rolling by then. But it was more of a defensive game because Tom didn't have big numbers in that game. He was 13 of 23 for 168. So it wasn't like this degree of difficulty. That defense was probably the best defense Tom played with in New England.
Yeah, you don't normally, your first start doesn't normally come against a team that's the #1 seed in your conference and coming off 9 straight wins. That normally does not happen.
It does not happen. And then Lamar's first start, going back 2 years.
Right.
But it was against Cincinnati, you know, and they were struggling.
Ran wild.
And he ran wild. He ran for 119 yards, but his QBR was low in that game, 27. So, again, I dare you to go back through your annals, go back through history. And you might be able to find one because this is vast. This is every rookie's first start, or not. It doesn't even have to be your rookie year. It could be your second or third year. Whatever your first start was, show me a better one, better poise, better command of your emotions and the situation than this kid against that team under those circumstances pulled off yesterday. And, hey, would I be shocked if he pulled them into the lead in the AFC East? The NFC East. I would not be shocked.
I don't see Washington losing out, Skip. Washington's going to have to lose out.
Yeah, but Philly, they wouldn't. Philly's in better shape than Dallas would be. So the worst test, the next tough test for Jalen Hurts is going to be at Kyler next week because Kyler's defense was roaring yesterday at the Giants. Then the Eagles go to Dallas. I'd have to go Eagles, as much as I hate them. And then they play Washington head-to-head at home in the last game. Right. Well, Washington has Seattle and then Carolina, which they should be able to beat Carolina. But
if they win one game, they'd win the division. All they got to do is win one game.
let's see, if Philly won out, that would be 7-8-1. They would win on that, but
With the tie.
Yeah.
Because Washington has 6 wins, right now. So they need to.
Washington has 6 wins,
Right.
but remember, Philly's got that tie against Joe
if
Burrow.
Philly wins out, Philly would win the division.
Yeah, okay, I got it. And
Because they would have to beat Washington. So they would have to.
listen, I would not bet against Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, that front. Now you talk about it. They put on the show yesterday. Washington's front 4, they put on the show.
Well, they had to because their quarterbacks were both so bad. And Alex Smith, God bless him, I'm knocking on wood.
It's calf.
He's got some calf injury,
Right.
but they said it didn't look that bad.
Right.
The x-rays were fine,
Right.
negative. But he was horrible. He had a QBR of 9, and that's when he was healthy, right?
Yes, it wasn't going good.
Yeah, I mean,
And the best thing to happen, they got a pick, but they got a pick 6, and they got a scoop and score.
They did.
That's basically their points.
that was it. Those were their 2 touchdowns. They didn't score an offensive touchdown.
So, Skip, give the young man credit. He played unbelievable yesterday, given the circumstances. The Saints were a tough team, but anybody that's convinced that Taysom Hill is an everyday quarterback.
Still up for grabs.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
The
It
jury
absolutely
is still out.
Because, Skip, you see what happens when a team can put points on the board and you just can't shut them down like they did Denver?
Yep.
So we're going to find out. I think, you know what, they might put some little magic potion. Drew Brees is going to, they're going to take our time with Drew. No, you're not. Because guess what? You're not in first anymore. The Packers are in first place in the NFC. And they're playing unbelievable.
Which is why Drew Brees may get rushed back to a game next Sunday at New Orleans against Kansas City.
Remember, they're going to take their time with Drew. They got time. They like what they got with Taysom Hill. I will not be shocked if I don't see Drew Brees going head-to-head with my homeboy. Because if you play like that against, you play like you played against Jalen Hurts, against Patrick Mahomes, he'll have 50. He'll put 50.
Is it possible we'd see Jameis Winston?
Maybe. That may be a possibility.
Maybe. So I still like Taysom Hill, but I love Jalen Hurts. And this is just me, and I don't want to pile on your man, as you say, walk it to him.
Yes.
I say give it to him. That game yesterday was the kind of game in which he would have had 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, 2 lost fumbles.
Yes.
And Jalen had none of the above.
He would have held on to the ball far too long, lied guys to get to him, and the ball would come out when he hits the dirt. Jalen Hurts did the right thing. First read's not there, I'm gone. I'll see y'all. I'll see you at the first down marker.
Well, now I do not, I wouldn't want to be in the shoes of the Philly Brass or Dougie P now because they have a huge decision confronting them.
Well, Skip, we got 3 more games. Just let it play out. You don't have to make a decision. Obviously, he's played well enough. I don't know what the debate is. You would not I can see, Skip, if he had got nicked or something, they lost the game. We're like, oh, man. But no, he won.
But they're still stuck with him going to next year.
Oh, yeah.
Carson
But
Wentz.
I'm saying, this year, you're not in a position. You're in a position, Jalen Hurts, unless he gets hurt. I'm going to ride him out.
Yep.
No mercy.
What's up, Undisputed listeners? It's your boy, Shay Sharp. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before 2 something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now back to Undisputed.
No mercy.
Tom Brady and the Buccaneers ended their 2-game skid with a 26-14 win over the Vikings. Brady had just under 200 passing yards to go along with a pair of touchdowns on the day. And after the game, Bruce Arians said, quote, "We just showed our identity. We can do any damn thing we want." So, Shannon, how close do Brady's Bucs look to being the best team in the NFC?
I know I wasn't at the game. Skip, but did you? Were you and I watching the same game? I've never seen.
I haven't spoken yet.
No, but I just want to know if you and me, I watched the game. Minnesota doubled up. Minnesota had the
You
ball.
get way better reception than I do. I'm way down in the flats. I got an antenna on top of my house. It's terrible. I have to keep adjusting.
Well, let me
rabbit ears and, you know.
You had all that?
Yeah,
You put aluminum?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Skip, Minnesota had the ball for almost 20 more minutes than Tampa. Tom Brady threw for less than 200 yards. They had 303 rushing. The field... Man, you know what, Skip? You told me. You tried to warn me about Dan Bailey, and I wouldn't listen to you. I remember early in our career when I first got here, 2016, I think 16 and 17, y'all had Dan Bailey. And you used to bang the table. You said, I want to get rid of Dan Bailey. I said, no, Skip, he's just going through a rough patch.
Dan is not the man.
Man, yep. Dan Bailey, Beetle Bailey, hell, he was kicking like Pearl Bailey, rest of us. So this was ridiculous yesterday, Skip. And there's nothing more deflating, Skip, than when you score a touchdown, you send your field goal kicker on the field to kick the PAT, and he misses it. And they were dominating. They had an opportunity to go up 9. They had an opportunity, should have been 10-0, and he just shanked it. Now, the 54-yarder, Skip, I'm going to concede. I was like, that's not a chip shot. But those others, Skip, you can't have that. You can't miss those. You can't miss a 46. You can't miss a 36. You can't do that. Playing teams like that, you're on the road. And then what did Tampa start do? They started front running. They get you down now. They get that pressure on you. Here come JPP. Here come Barrett. Here comes Sue. And it just snowballed on them. And I didn't think Cousins played bad. He did as well. He stood up as long as he could. But it just they were relentless with their pressure. Yep. And those DBs, they started taking a little chances. You know, they sitting on everything because they knew Minnesota's front line couldn't hold up. Yep. And they got ultra aggressive. But I'm trying to figure out, so what do you think Sean McVay is saying? Man, if I can just get Jared Goff not to give it to the other team, we can do anything we want to do. Sean Payton said, man, we get Drew Brees back, we can do anything we want to do. What the hell you think LaFleur said in Green Bay? So this notion that Bruce said, like, oh, we so much better than everybody else, and we play our A game, can't nobody, man, stop. You've been watching the last 3 games. Y'all been getting the brakes beat up you. It's your first game you won in a month. So let's not get carried away, B.A. This was a game that Minnesota had the field goal kick. I don't know how it would have turned out. It might have come out with the same outcome, Skip. But you can't give away 10 points on the road. I've never seen anything like this, Skip. I've never seen this lopsided of a possession. Almost 20 minutes.
39-21. 39 minutes to 21 minutes.
Skip, that's unheard of. I'm trying to go back. I've seen 10, seen 13, 14, but not almost 20. That's ridiculous. And Bruce Arians up there pounding his chest like, man, you see when we beat the brakes off him. No, you didn't. You got a chip shot. And it was rightfully called. The guy PI'd, and I know people like, man, they call a PI on a Hail Mary. The guy was holding Gronk all the way down the field. Damn, son.
You know what? I'm so jaded on that call that now that you bring it up,
you wouldn't have called it?
I just wouldn't have called it because everybody gets away with everything on that play.
Well, Skip, if it was in the end zone, had it just been in the end zone, but Skip, he was doing this all the way down the field from the 20-yard line.
But this is like the Shaq treatment, like Shaquille O'Neal at his greatest, at his most dominant. People just beat all up on. He's Shaq. Right. You know, they don't call it. They don't call fouls on Shaq. They call charges on Shaq. So the point is, do you realize that was the first defensive pass interference called in the last 20 years on a Hail Mary?
Yes.
They just don't call it. It's never, ever called. Because
everybody's jostling for the ball, Skip. It's like, hey, I got as much right to it. The ball's up in there. I got as much right to as the offensive guy does.
So that was 3 points. I wanted them just to go for it because you get it at the 1. You got 1 shot from the 1. I just go for it, but they took 3. That's fine. Okay, now back to the Bruce Arians quote, Jenny's question. Yesterday's was as baffling a football game as I've ever tried to figure out because about half the time, I'm with BA. About half the time, I saw firepower on offense and on Tampa Bay defense that made me think, gee, if they ever click, if they ever gel, if they ever ignite and detonate, they can be as good as anybody in the NFC. And our man Howie Long, right after the game on Fox, said something like that. Hey, they can beat anybody when they click. Well, did they click yesterday? Here and there they clicked. Right. Here and there they did not click. Right. Coming off a bye, 2 weeks worth. I didn't see urgency and energy I thought I might see. I thought they might take off yesterday, and they would, in fits and spurts, do this and do that, and then they wouldn't do anything. Remember, they came in #1 against the run in all of pro football. They gave up 162 yards rushing, and Dalvin went over 100.
Yeah, I told you, Cool was going to be committed to the run now.
Because they came out, Gary Kubiak, your man who was your backup quarterback in Denver.
The offensive coordinator.
He's the coordinator now. He's been around. He's done great things in this league as a head coach and a coordinator.
Yeah. Won the Super Bowl with the Broncos.
He did. And he just came out and said, hell with you. You know, you think you could stop the run? And I kept telling you, The reason they've stopped the run is because nobody runs on them, because you can throw on them so easily. They'd given up the most pass yards in the league over the last month.
Right.
Okay? So what did I see? All right, let's go to good Brady first, and then I'll go to lots of bad Brady. But the first play is 3rd and 4 from the 48. So it's 3rd and 4, and he goes 48 yards. And guess what happened on this play before it was run? We didn't see it right there, but would you believe that little Scotty Miller went in motion on this play? They had run little to no motion for the first, 3/4 of the season. Yesterday, 51% of the time, on 25 of 49 snaps, they actually put men in motion.
Right.
So in the bye week, they said, let's do this. And that happened. In motion, so Tom can identify man, and he knew he had Scotty man-to-man matched up on somebody who can't run with the guy who runs 4-3, and that happened. And then let's go to the next one, which came in the third quarter on a 1st and 10 situation, but they actually ran this thing called play action. Brady lived on play action in New England. Play action, wasn't much of play action, and all of a sudden, guess who's loose down the sidelines? Mike Evans. He can throw one up, and bingo, you've got a play action, big completion to set up a touchdown, okay? I'll take that. And then this came late when they're trying to hang on to the lead. This is 3rd and 8 from their 38. And this guy named Antonio Brown, who still gets high targets, he got 5 targets and he caught all 5 of them. So they're still trying to fit him into the rotation. That was Brady's, to me, best throw against 3rd and 5, and he's doubled on the boundary, and that saved them and ate the rest of the clock, and they were able to win the game. So they had 0 turnovers yesterday. They had only 5 penalties, so I'll take that. But how do you not have the ball for only 21 minutes? It's like impossibly wrong. And they're way down. They're 27th in the league in time of possession because they're pretty good on 3rd down. They're 11th on 3rd down. But again, they're not. They're no risk it, no biscuit. They score They score or they don't score. It's go for broke on one big play or they don't.
Right. And Skip, when you look at it, Brady was off a little bit yesterday.
He was, especially early. He missed Gronk.
He missed Chris Godwin.
He missed Godwin on a cross where it was late in the he had stepped up and pumped, and then Chris Godwin came completely free, and he just flat out airmailed.
I thought Brady would have a big day for the simple fact Minnesota can't pressure the quarterback. And you saw, Skip, on the throws that he had, on the one he hit Scotty Miller. Skip, I don't know why on 3rd and 4 you rush 3. You can't get pressure with 4. So you're going to take 1 and you got a guy spot. Why would you spot Brady? Like Brady go run for the first down like he Lamar Kyler. Why would you do that? I just didn't, I don't get why you would do that. You're not going to confuse him rushing 3, allowing him time to pat the ball, because he'll just wait. They had the guys, Skip, if you look at it, they got the one guy on the Hail Mary. Just rush 4. And if you don't get there, you don't get there. But you're trying to rush 3. Everybody's trying to get exotic. Oh, you see, I rushed 1 guy and got a sack. I rushed 2 guys and got a sack. Stop trying to get quirky. Just go play straight defense. I thought Brady would play better for the simple fact, Skip, they don't rush the pass. And I was like, you know what? He's going to have a time. And what we've seen from Brady in a game that he's played well, you don't get pressure on him. And if you don't get pressure on him, he still can throw the ball down the field. And he's still pinpoint accurate when you don't pressure him. And so that's why, Skip, I was like, I'm thinking 350, 3 touchdowns, 400 yards. But they also ran the ball with Roe Jones, Skip, 18 carries for 80 yards. That was another thing they did.
Okay, so this was the 2nd straight game, including Kansas City's, in which they barely had the football. They had it 23 minutes against Kansas City, 21 minutes yesterday. So if I extrapolate out, if I do the algebra on this, if you gave Brady the ball for 39 minutes, like Cousins had it, then Brady would have thrown for 351. So it doesn't sound great when it's 196, but he did that in 21 minutes. At that rate, he would have had 351 and 39.
When you got the ball, you got to do something with it.
Okay.
Like you said, they either keep the ball and they put the ball in the end zone, or they go in 3 and out.
What did they do in New England? What did Tom Brady do? Long drives, 80 yards in 13 plays, 75 yards in 12 plays. They don't do that. That's not how they do business, and he's trying to do it the Bruce Arians way. But I still trust the offense more than I do the defense, because look what the defense allowed Kirk Cousins to do. He went 4 of 5 on 4th down, and they were going for it on 4th down because they said, Dan Bailey's a disaster. We can't even put the game back in on his foot, right? So Kirk Cousins, every time, they're driving me out of my mind because he's completing little passes for 4, 5, 6 yards on 4th down. Yet they sacked him 6 times. Well, most teams don't have the firepower to sack somebody 6 times. They do when they come to play, but they don't always come to play, right?
And you're exactly right. And the thing is that what kept them off balance, and Skip, the thing when you got pass rushers, once they get a taste of sacking the quarterback, they forget about playing the run. And so now you got guys trying to go attack Cousins, and Dalvin Cook is getting 5, getting 8 yards here and there. And so that's what you have to be mindful of. But how many teams that they could possibly play can run the football like Minnesota? There are not a whole lot of teams in the NFC, Skip, that can run the ball like that. Or we haven't seen consistently run the ball. We saw the Rams the other night against the Patriots. We saw them run the ball. Alvin Kamara runs the ball here or there, him and Murray, but that's not what they do.
We saw what Dalvin did to Green Bay at Green Bay.
You're right.
Remember that?
Aaron Jones can run the football, but for the most part, they're not going to run into a team that can run the football. Now, they got some guys that can light you up throwing the ball. Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff, Drew Brees, if he comes back healthy, they can get you throwing it. But nobody can run the ball like Minnesota that they're going to possibly see on the NFC side.
So yesterday they tried to balance it up. They tried to run it a little bit more than they passed it, right?
Yeah, 26.
Okay.
I mean, they had more rush attempts than pass attempts.
That's what I'm saying. So that was out of the bye. That was their new philosophy. Let's try to, let's even go a little run heavy. So they had 107 yards rushing. Rojo had 18 carries for 80 yards, which is pretty good. They got a little bit of play action worked into it. And they took Leonard Fournette, who I've been pounding the table over here about. They took him out of the rotation and out of the game.
He was a healthy scratch.
He did not even dress yesterday.
Shady McCoy was up.
All of a sudden, Shady had a couple of moments in the sunlight, right?
Yeah.
And showed a little flash catching and running. So I think that's going to give them a little more pop out of that 3rd down type back than Leonard Fournette was giving them. And if I know Leonard Fournette, he is not a happy camper today, and you might hear from him.
No, you ain't gonna hear nothing.
Well,
because he got, what you call him, Tampa picked him up on the scrap heap. He better shut his mouth. Just keep quiet. Just bide your time. Try to hopefully you're going for a great ride. You never know when your number's gonna call. Because he did have 100 yards a couple of weeks ago, Skip. But right now is not your time. Minnesota had ran 76 plays. Tampa ran 49. 27 more plays. Almost 19 more minutes time of possession, and you lose because your field goal kicker can't make a simple kick.
Okay, so I will give you this. It's not the sheer points that he left on the table, which were 10 points, although one field goal was 54 yards. If we could quickly see his misses, he missed the extra point on the first touchdown. That just takes the heart out of the team.
It does.
I just hate that. I hate to see it. I hate it for his team.
But Skip, it wasn't even close.
It wasn't even close. And then you knew this was coming, and here's the second one. That's a makeable one.
He tried to kick it in the pirate ship.
Yeah, this is 54. And
that ain't even close.
It's not even close.
Hey, does he realize, you got to kick it between the uprights. Not if you get in the end zone, you get points. Between the uprights.
So, in the end, I'm going to give the Tampa defense that I don't trust a little bit of a break. You realize it was nearly 100 degrees on the field yesterday in December. I know you, and you would not love that, right?
Nah.
Okay, so they're out there for 39 minutes against Kirk Cousins and company, trying to deal with Thielen and Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook, and it's hard.
At least, Skip, it's easier when you practice in it. Tampa's been down there in the heat. And Tom Brady, remember Tom Brady says, I'm never leaving the Northeast again. Ever. I'm not going back there.
He says, you won't catch me dead in the Northeast.
He says, I kind of like this warm weather. But just imagine Minnesota, although they were practicing inside, Skip, it's 30 degrees. It's 20 degrees in Minnesota. And now all of a sudden, because I remember we played the Dolphins in a playoff game, Skip. We're in Baltimore. We bundle up, it's snowing, it's cold. And then we get there, it's 85 degrees. Man, I'm like, it was almost like I hadn't been done anything for the last 3 months.
I got it.
But you like what BA had to say? Oh, you like it BA not? So not BA, you and BA backdoor.
I like that kind of almost, it's like positive arrogance. But he's right. That they're capable of doing any of the above. They just need to take off now. They got Atlanta twice, at Atlanta, and then to finish the year at home.
Atlanta.
They got at Detroit.
I don't know what's going on with Matt Ryan, Skip.
Well,
he did it again.
Well, they lost to the rookie yesterday.
Skip, he threw a pick. Skip, he threw a pick with 30-something seconds.
Yeah, that was very uncharacteristic of him. And I was there watching
this year's been very
person.
characteristic.
Very odd, different there. But you know what, guys? The Cowboys, they actually are still alive in this thing. They are very, very excited about talking about their playoff hopes because they got a win against the Bengals. Dallas had under 300 total yards of offense in the game, but it was still good enough for a 30-7 win. And after the game, Ezekiel Elliott said, quote, "We're not out of it. This win is definitely going to help. We definitely built some momentum today." And Dallas still remains 2 games out of first and is right now last in the NFC East. So, Shannon, does Zeke have a point?
Hell no. They say this every time. Hold on, Skip. Zeke was the same guy that said this after the Minnesota game. Remember, he said that after the Minnesota game? And then guess what?
At least they had an impressive win that day.
Yeah, okay.
On the road, yeah.
You, Michael Irvin, Zeke said after that big come from behind win against the Falcons, this is the kind of game that gives you momentum, that gives you. And guess what happened? You lost to Seattle. You come back against the Giants. Oh, boy, we got some momentum.
Well, you left out Cleveland, in which we were down 41-14 in the fourth quarter at home.
Yeah, and I remember you guys came back against the Giants. We're down 17-3. You came back, Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Ooh, big win. And guess what happened the next game, Skip? You want to tell them? You want me to tell them? Blown out by Arizona. After the win against the Vikings. That's why we go, Zeke said, we go get this train rolling again. Guess what happened, Skip, on Thanksgiving? Tell the people at home that maybe was eating and didn't watch the game. Blown out by the Washington football team.
In the fourth quarter.
No. You were blown out.
Well, it should have been tied going to the fourth quarter.
You lost 41 to what, 16? So, Skip, no. Skip, you beat one of the worst teams in football. I'm not so sure right now on a neutral field. I wouldn't take Cincinnati over the Jets. I wouldn't take Cincinnati over Jacksonville with Gardner Minshew back. Because Mike Glennon been sorry since he got to Tampa, and he done bounced around. He's still sorry.
He was sorry in college.
He's just the older sorry player now. He was young and sorry. Now he old and sorry.
Vanderbilt beat him in a bowl game, believe it or not.
Skip, can you believe that the head coach actually wanted Mike Glennon to start over Russell Wilson? That's why Russell Wilson left to go to Wisconsin. Because that guy wanted Mike Glennon. But that's neither here nor there. Skip, no, I ain't, Skip, I'm not believing anything the Cowboys say. They beat one of the worst teams in football. And you up there proud of your chest about that? I just watched you get blown out the other night against Baltimore. You gave up 300 yards rushing. So what was the momentum on that one? You didn't build no momentum? Man, stop this. No, I got nothing the Cowboys say. It's over for y'all. You can get all the momentum you want. It's over. You're done. Your season is over. You know that. I know that. Because you got to win out and then hope somebody else lose out. And that ain't happening.
Okay. Allow me to pay my respects to my team.
What respects?
My nearly departed team. I appreciate what the defense did yesterday, albeit against the woeful Bengals, albeit against the Bengals with no Joe Mixon at running back. But after getting run off the field for much of the year, including that previous game against Baltimore, did you see what they held them to? They held them to 101 yards. I'm all in. Like, thank you for that.
Yeah, with no Joe Mixon.
Okay. I know, no Joe Mixon. Samaje Perine from OU was still there. But still, what you have to frame it with is the fact that Cincinnati is home for the holidays.
Yeah.
You could just see it right away. They fumbled on their first 3 possessions. If we could see these are the first 3 possessions of the game.
Yeah, they try to get this thing over with.
Okay, that's what it looked like to me. If we could please view this. Okay, that's a strip by D-Law. He brought the law yesterday. Way to go.
Look at this
and
one.
The second one,
this is gonna
he
be a
just ran
touchdown.
into his own tackle, and Alden Smith said, "Oh, look what I found." He looks good. How fast does that look? Alden Smith, he looks
look
like
at this.
he can run.
Look at this right here.
This is just silliness to me. What are you doing? And you're going in for a touchdown at that point. so that all happened bang, bang, bang in the first 3 possessions. Well, yeah, you got a shot to win 30-7, and they did.
You're right.
And they did hold them to 101 yards rushing, which shows you a little bit of pride. And they did do it with a secondary that is just absolutely decimated. The one guy I love, besides Trevon Diggs, but that I told you that Donovan Wilson will lay the wood.
Yeah.
And now suddenly he's been gone, and all of a sudden Anthony Brown was gone, and Awuzie was gone yesterday, and Trevon Diggs is still gone. So they were down 4 guys who have been starting for them. Okay, so it was hard. You were up against it like everybody seems to be in the NFC East, starting with Philly and then going to New York with Daniel Jones.
But why are you and Zeke so positive? You started the day in last place. The day comes to a close. You're still in last place. So I'm trying to see the positivity in there. I can see if you moved up 2 spots, now all of a sudden you're in second place or you're tied for the lead. You started in last. So if I start dead last, I end up dead last. What have I gained?
Okay. So I appreciate the
optimism.
The optimism. I don't appreciate the delusion because it's just delusional to be saying that. But if you do look at it, mathematically, they are still alive. So they have San Francisco, Philadelphia at home, and then at the Giants. If they win all 3 games, which they're capable of winning those 3 games because those 3 teams got their issues. And again, I just talked about, I love Jalen Hurts, but they got decimated on defense. So they're going to have big trouble going to Arizona trying to stop Kyler with, I don't know how many starters are going to be out.
Right.
6 starters on defense, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay. So if Dallas wins out because they got throttled twice by their arch rival Washington, they have no tiebreaker with Washington that just looked like it separated yesterday.
Washington wins 1 game.
It's 1 game and it's over.
It's over.
Okay. So Washington would have to lose out, and they got Seattle at home, Carolina at home.
They go get Carolina. The Broncos just beat the brakes out Carolina.
Okay. And it's Ron Rivera. It's going
Yeah,
back to
he like, y'all fired me.
Yeah,
in the middle of the season. Y'all didn't let me finish my season.
And then they finish at Philadelphia against Jalen Hurts, who could be the X factor. He could be dangerous.
They have Division 1 by the end.
Yeah.
They're going to have Christmas, so they play Sunday, and they're going to probably play, that Sunday after Christmas. Yeah, that'd be Christmas. That'd be their Christmas stocking, NFC East champ.
But their issue is their quarterback is who?
Yeah.
Their quarterback is who do you trust?
You got
right?
me with that one. You got me with that one.
Well, I don't know. Alex Smith was horrible yesterday, and we mentioned it earlier. Their defense scored both their touchdowns. Alex Smith had a QBR of 9. He was just pathetic. No touchdowns and interception.
Yeah.
Couldn't move the ball. And actually, Dwayne Haskins looked a little better, but he was still pretty bad. He had a QBR of 31.
You do realize the reason why Alex Smith is in there because Haskins had looked terrible early. So that's why Alex Smith got a chance. Well, the guy that replaced Haskins got hurt. And Kyle Allen.
Yeah.
So now Alex Smith had to get in there. But Skip, look, I still believe Dwayne Haskins can do enough to be able to win one of these last 3 games if he's called upon. Now, like you said, Seattle is not going to be an easy out.
No.
Boy, they can get after you. That front 4, you see that was money well spent with Payne, Allen, Sweat, Chase Young. You throw Kerrigan in the mix, they can come get you.
Well, in the East, obviously, they got the best. They got the best front 7 for sure. And I've respected Phillies when it's healthy, but whew.
But they've done the best job, Skip, because that's where they've invested their money.
Yep.
Now the Giants got a nice front 7, but Skip, they traded for Leonard Williams, and so they didn't put the stockpile into like the Cowboys drafted. They put their money in the offensive line, and so for the longest time, that's why they were so dominant on the offensive side of the football. The Washington football team says all of our money, year after year, Skip. And, hey, when you're bad, you get high draft picks. You get guys in the teens. You get the number 2 overall pick. I heard mic'd up with Mike Tomlin. Said, I don't ever want to be a bad to get a guy like you. Say, to get somebody to look like you and play like you got to be pretty bad. I don't want to be that bad.
And then the Giants yesterday suffered at home a Cowboy-esque disaster, right?
Man, Skip.
That was what they shouldn't have started Daniel Jones because they didn't call one running play. He didn't run one time with the football because he was limpy and gimpy the whole game on his hamstring. They should have started Colt McCoy and they would have had a better shot.
Thank you. When have you ever known someone, Skip, to have a hurt hamstring, miss a week, and then come back the next week?
You just can't.
If that hamstring was that bad, I've had them, and I don't know how many people out there have them. It bothers you to walk, let alone try to run, Skip. And you see him, he limping off the field, and that's why that guy had 5 sacks, 3 forced fumble, 2 tackle for losses. There's a reason why. Skip, he can't go anywhere. And Daniel Jones got legs. That was also surprised me about the Saints. Who gives up more rushing yards to the quarterback than the Eagles? And not one time did Taysom Hill try to run. Daniel Jones got out the gate, got a 34-yard touchdown. Remember, Skip, up there in the new MetLife, I think that's what they call it. Had an 80-yard where he stumbled over his own feet.
He did. He does that.
He does that.
He couldn't do
that yesterday,
no,
Skip.
He could not. So now I'm going to speak just as a lifelong Cowboy fan. and I feel like I'm an objective Cowboy fan. And I told you how mixed my emotions were going into yesterday. We needed to lose that game to a team that was sitting in the 3rd spot in the draft, and we were 4th.
Right.
And if we had lost to them, we would vault over them into 3rd. Well, now we won it. Now Zeke's talking about, here we go. We got momentum. It ain't over. Well, the worst case scenario would be they would win out. They just keep going down, down, down in the draft. And meanwhile, if Washington just beats Carolina at home, they're going to eclipse us because they beat us twice.
Head to head.
Okay? So winning out would be the ultimate disaster. It would be insult to injury for this year, right?
Yes.
Because you would lose any shot at having a top 5 draft pick.
Yes. Oh, that'd be over. That's the worst thing that can happen. If I can see, Skip, you can say, you know what? I can do without the top 5 draft pick. We won the division. We got a playoff game. I can live with that. But to lose out on the top 5 draft pick, not win the division, and now you were somewhere like 8, 9.
Yep. So yesterday I had to watch Andy Dalton signal his wife up in the stands who was sitting up in a box by herself, and he was doing the sign language sign for I love you. At first I thought it was like hook 'em horns. It was like the Texas sign, but the thumbs out.
Right.
You know? So,
but he's a horn frog, so he can't.
He doesn't. There's also a horn frog sign he can do, but he wasn't doing that.
Right.
He was doing the I love you sign up to his wife, which was sweet and it was cute.
Bro, you beat the Bengals.
Yeah, you were beating the Bengals. It was his team, obviously, that drafted him, so it was sweet revenge for him.
Skip.
But it didn't do us any good, Andy. I'm sorry.
But Andy does. Well, you said I love you, and that's great. I mean, I'm sure you have a lovely wife, but you're the reason they got Joe Burrow. Had you played better,
that's true,
they wouldn't have got Joe Burrow.
I can't argue with that. And had he not played better yesterday, maybe we'd have the 3rd pick in the draft, and maybe we'd be looking at the next Joe Burrow.
No,
you never know.
You got that.
Oh, yeah, I forget
Why
about it. How quickly we forget.
Yeah, I know. You
Well,
greedy.
he wants $45 million, and I just don't think we should pay him that.
Skip, that ain't no money. I mean, the Cowboys.
That ain't no money, says Shannon. Yeah, right.
Must be nice. That's all I have to say.
No mercy.
Hey, Undisputed listeners, it's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
No mercy.
Kevin Durant made his much-anticipated return to the hardwood after rehabbing from his Achilles injury. It was also the first time we saw KD in a Nets uniform, and the former MVP admitted he was nervous heading into the game. He finished the game with 15 points in 24 minutes and afterwards said it was, quote, a good step. So, Shannon, how much did Kevin Durant look like Kevin Durant?
Well, he'll be just fine. Skip, it's his first game. Excuse me. Oh, there you go, Skip. Look at you see. I thought that I didn't know who was sitting over there. It's his first game in 18 months. And so, obviously he's going to be a little rusty. There's one thing, you shooting around with the guys and practice and shooting on your own. But to get out there in an actual game-like situation where fouls and whistles going to be blown for traveling, I thought he played well. You can tell he's rusty. But, Skip, there's always in the back of your mind, am I going to still be Kevin Durant? Man, this is a serious injury that I suffered. Am I still going to be? And I think once he got a rhythm and the more and more he plays, the more and more. Now, he didn't have his rhythm from outside, but his first points came on a dunk, faked him up, boom, goes to the back, goes to the hole. But Kevin Durant's going to be just fine, Skip. You can't teach what he has. He's 7 foot tall, got almost an 8 foot wingspan, and he's shooting the ball at a 9, 10 foot apex. That's fine. As long as he can do that, he can put the ball in the basket. And the last time we saw Kevin Durant, he was averaging 32 points in the playoffs, shooting 44% from the three and 90% from the free throw line. Kevin Durant's going to be just fine. Give him a couple of games, give him a month to get back into the rhythm, and you're like, I ain't know Kevin Durant was injured. I ain't know Kevin Durant missed almost 2 years.
You scared?
No. Because you see what we doing. OTHT? Boy, THT took the ball right out of Kawhi's hand last night.
Taylor Horton Tucker,
Yeah!
you're going to immortalize him?
Skip.
LeBron already tweeted, he's special.
We did it.
Special.
We sent our JV out there on you bums. We sent our JV out there.
We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, we got to talk about the monster is back. KD as in killer dog. That's who he is.
Okay.
He's got it in
We
him.
got something for you, though.
Hey, I got to tell you, I saw bounce I didn't think I'd see. I saw spring in his step I did not think I would see. I even saw a little trampoline effect. I saw him just come right back up, bam. I saw a guy who looked like he was Kevin Durant again, right away. I was a little surprised to the point of being shocked he played 24 minutes until I looked at their schedule and I realized, wait a second, a week from tomorrow night,
Over the night.
they play.
Yep.
It's Warriors at Nets. They play a real game that's going to count. And that night, the Clippers play at the Lakers. And that's the game that counts because they played two so far that don't count.
We don't even, you know.
And I hope are you going to raise a banner over those two games?
No. But we just show you a little sample.
Yeah.
A little sample. But you saw Trez rim running. Trez rim running. Yeah, we're going to talk about old Kawhi. He got the old Kawhi something
We'll
now.
get that. So what I saw was Kevin Durant played 24 minutes and scored 15 easy points, had a couple of blocks, which I was impressed with. And I saw Kyrie play only 17 minutes and score 18 points in 17 minutes. And he really looked like Uncle Drew is back.
Yeah.
The handle is there, and he's just scoring at will. He's making fools of people. He's putting people on skates. And again, it was Washington. They did not play their top. There was no Russ. There was no Beal. There was no Bertans even. But still, all I wanted to see was, in a vacuum, how did KD and Kyrie look? And they looked like themselves. And I'm going to remind everybody, KD had not played a basketball game in 552 days, and Kyrie had not played in 316 days.
Yeah, so the thing is with these two guys is that KD doesn't need the ball. KD's not ball dominant. He can get 30 and only have the ball, and finish what? He could average 30 and be like bottom, 10, 11th in usage.
That's what Iguodala always says. He's the most efficient scorer ever.
So as long as Kyrie understands, Kyrie, you're a phenomenal talent, but you can't see that 7-foot guy. Just as long as sometimes, Skip, guys get carried away like, man, I'm the equivalent. No, you're not. You can have the.
If I give you that you're the favorite and you're going to get to the finals, do you think you might see these guys in the finals?
We might see them.
Okay, you might, but it is very difficult, as you well know, to throw a mix together like the Clippers tried to do last year. At least,
like we did.
Okay, you had already been there for 1 year, and AD joined you, but it wasn't new to you.
It was.
You already knew Laker land.
Danny Green. We had new Danny Green.
Yeah, okay, but the point is, this is new coach. Steve Nash, who's never coached a bounce, okay? But he had coached a whole lot of basketball at a pretty high level.
Yeah, and you didn't want no Frankie V.
No, and so it's Steve Nash trying to coach two guys who claim they don't really need a coach. So we heard them on IG Live. Was it early yesterday? I don't know when it was.
I think it was Saturday.
Maybe it might
have been yesterday or Saturday.
And they're arguing about Kyrie saying, I think I should post up at least 8 times a game. And KD's saying, no. I don't want my point guard underneath 8 times in the game. That won't work.
No.
And he just shut him down, and Kyrie sort of hung in there. Well, somebody's got to say yes or no on that. Is Steve Nash going to say no to Kyrie?
Yeah, when do you start? Look, you post up 6'2" guards in high school. You ain't posting up those 6'2" guards. You post up 6'9" Magic.
Unless you're playing Trae Young every night. You can have that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Guards don't normally Michael, Kobe, but that's not point guard, Skip.
No.
Like you said, unless you posted up Isaiah Thomas, the younger version Isaiah Thomas, or Trae Young, yeah, you post those guys. But come on, you talking about posting 8 times a game?
So that brings me back to your Lakers, because I still do love the Nets, and I think they're going to be a force, but they're going to have to gel pretty quickly and figure out charge pretty quickly.
KD's in charge.
But he's easy to play with, but his IQ is off the charts. He gets it. Remember, he joined that behemoth out in Golden State, and you said, he's going to mess it. No, he didn't mess it up. They went and won 2 straight championships with him as the finals
Well,
MVP.
he couldn't mess it up because the ball moved. That's what he wants. His problem is when the ball stops.
I agree.
That's what the problem was with OKC. The ball wasn't moving.
Okay, so he played 24 minutes and Kyrie played 17 because they got to get ready for what's coming right down the tracks, right in their grill.
We chilly.
Okay, you're still chilling, but a week from tomorrow night, you have to play a real game, and your man LeBron and AD, they've been over there cheerleading. Okay?
LeBron and AD had on Air Maxes. Let you know we gonna get Skip. I mean, we sending that out there. Kyle Kuzma looking good, ain't he? He got that red hair.
Yeah.
Kyle Kuzma on fire. And then THT, ooh, Skip, he did a number on your guy. He did a number on Paul. Which one of y'all checking?
Yeah.
Check ball.
What did he get, 33 last night?
Yeah.
Way to go, in a game that did not count.
I guess took the ball out of Kawhi's hand. Give me that.
So Kawhi and Paul George have played 14 minutes each in the first game and 18 minutes each in the second game because they know they got to get ready.
They got to get ready. We see when you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
So you're too cool for this.
We
deal,
ready,
right? You're
we
already
ready. We ready.
Really, drinking red wine and smoking cigars.
Oh, why you telling that business, putting that business in the streets?
Well, I don't know. He puts it all over the streets.
Don't worry about what he does. I'm talking about you. You get Kawhi.
Wait, why did I say wine? Tequila.
And not Kawhi talking trash?
Yeah.
Not Kawhi talking trash? Hell no. Trey shoot a ball. He talking about hell no.
Well, I like that.
Oh, you like that, huh?
Well, it was after he missed. Hell no. Okay.
Oh, so now Kawhi, because that's T-Lou. T-Lou said, Kawhi, we need you to be a leader. We got guys that talk. We need you to, and so now he getting into that. But don't worry about it. Ron gonna shut all that down. We'll deal with you on Tuesday. Hey, big bro coming.
You know, I think Kawhi and Paul George, from what I've seen, they look really good together. They've been dominating. They're both plus 13 in that first game back on.
But they was trailing the whole game. And we ain't even say AD and LeBron didn't even touch the court. So what y'all gonna do when the big monsters come?
THT's playing like it's the finals. They're playing it like it's a preseason.
No. Skip. Y'all but see, that's your
Is he
problem.
going to start for you? Or
Don't worry about what else. What we got is that rotate. Boy, you see Trez running to the rim.
He's had 2 big games. And he's been playing high minutes because he was not in shape in the bubble.
He in shape now.
Saw it.
He in shape now. He in shape now.
Well, he's getting there.
No, hey, don't you worry about it. You worry about your guys.
We're in shape. We're ready to go.
How's Zubas looking?
Good.
How's Serge looking?
Real good.
Yeah. You babe. Y'all can't see us, Skip. Y'all can't see us.
Well, we might be able to see you a week from tomorrow night because your guys are going to be chugging up and down the court, waving for rest.
We don't do that. LeBron, we got a minutes restriction on LeBron. We're going to play him somewhere between 32, 33.
He'll play 38 minutes the first night. He needs to pad those stats.
No, we're not playing that. No, because we got the fastest turnaround in professional sports history. Now, if it was 4 months, I might
thought he was
you.
Iron Man.
No, Skip, stop. Man about to be 36, just came off a championship, one of the hardest championships ever won, one of the 2 or 3 hardest championships ever won in NBA history. Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, mentally.
Everybody else's bubble burst except yours.
Skip, you do realize mentally.
Oh, man.
Man.
Yeah, I can agree that mentally it was pretty challenging.
You worry about the
How is
bums.
LeBron doing? Shannon, have you checked in on him?
He doing good. He doing good. He said, I got something for him.
Good.
He said, I got something for him on Tuesday.
I know you guys just checked.
And on Christmas Day.
Good to know.
No mercy.
Jalen Hurts led the Eagles to an upset win over the Saints in his first NFL start and racked up over 250 total yards along the way. Despite Carson Wentz being benched, a report before the game had a source from the team saying, quote, none of this changes the belief that people have in Carson. So, Shannon, do you expect Wentz to be the starting quarterback next season?
I expect him to be the quarterback next week. I don't think after one game you can definitively say that Jalen Hurts is going to be the starter next year. And I don't think they should do that. I think they should evaluate it week by week, and we'll see.
So what's your gut feeling right here, right now?
No, Wentz will be the starter next year. And I think there'll be probably a good chance they have unless they win the out, Skip, and win the division, I don't really see a scenario in which Dougie P comes back. I think that's the more likely scenario. I don't know how Carson can start given that Doug benched him. Skip, you don't bench quarterbacks in their 4th season and still be there and then turn around and go back to them at some point in time. I've never seen, now look, you've been around it longer than I have. I don't know, I can't say in my years of playing that I saw a quarterback in his 4th year get benched and then the head coach that benched him is still there, turns back to him, and everything is hunky-dory. I haven't seen that. Not to say that it can't happen, but I just haven't seen it. So I think the more likely scenario is that unless Jalen Hurts gets hurt, he finishes out the season. But I don't see. I believe Wentz is going to be the starter. Now that's for them. They make a lot more money than I do to determine that. But I believe Wentz will be the starter next year, but it will be under the tutelage of a different head coach.
I told you the day this young man was drafted, Jalen Hurts, right? I posted this social. Jalen Hurts will be better than Carson Wentz. You'll win more games with Jalen Hurts than you will win with Carson Wentz. They are clearly, quote unquote, stuck with Carson against the cap because, unlike the Dallas Cowboys, they gave him his money right on schedule, and now they are almost held hostage by that money. It's virtually impossible. You can't cut him. It's just too debilitating against your cap. It would wreck your cap going forward for the next 2 years. If you could get somebody to take him off your hands, and somebody might, that's the only way out from under his deal.
But even if you trade him, you still got dead money.
You still get hit. But it's not like you get hit if you cut him. So to me, right now, Carson Wentz's future in this league is teetering, depending upon how Jalen plays, with a beat-up, banged-up defense at Kyler Murray next Sunday at Arizona. And remember, the Arizona defense came alive against Daniel Jones and the kid they took 13th overall, 2017, Hassan Reddick.
Yeah.
He just came back to life, man.
Man, I can
5
imagine
sacks.
when he get paired with Chandler Jones, and they might have
were
something.
rolling yesterday, and they're going to be coming after Jalen Hurts, obviously.
Gotta be careful,
Sunday.
Skip. This kid can run now. He'll jump out and go.
Okay, which kid? Are we talking about Kyler?
I'm talking about Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
He's not going to sit back there like Daniel Jones. There's nothing wrong with his hamstrings.
No, I agree with you. So, to me, all I know for sure is I believe heart and soul that Jalen will be better than Carson. So, it depends how he's going to play this out. Obviously, at Arizona, at Dallas, at Jerry World, and then home against Washington that seems to be separated.
Right.
If he wins out, now you got the biggest problem you've ever had, because what are you going to do?
Right.
You're stuck financially, but you're stuck emotionally because you see what he can do that Carson Wentz can't do.
Right.
So what is, as I call him, give it to him, Wentz. What has he done so far this year? He's led the NFL in sacks, led in interceptions, led in total turnovers. At the very bottom, I think he's 30th in completion percentage. Right. So he's just bad. And it looks like he's lost a lot of faith in himself.
He has. Skip, what you mentioned, you're talking about if you let Jalen Hurts stay in there and he went out. Well, this is the problem that the Eagles created to begin with. You created this. You had a quarterback that you gave this money to, and you knew the question was, the moment you took a quarterback, inside of 3 rounds, you knew the questions were going to come. But, Skip, this reminds me, I got another relationship. Skip, this is a situation where, you know what? The old people used to tell me, boy, it's cheaper to keep her. In other words, Skip, I don't want to let him go, because if I let him go, Skip, it's going to cost me a ton of money. Dead money if I let him go. But if I keep him, I ain't in love with him or her anymore. But I got to keep him. I got to keep him or her.
Sometimes you just have to bite that bullet.
You got to, Skip. Like, you know what? Hey, here's the check. Go ahead and go about your way. Because I ain't happy. Somebody, I ain't happy with you, and enough of me sleeping upstairs, you sleeping downstairs, I'm downstairs, you upstairs. Let's just go ahead here. Here's the check. Jeffrey Lurie, you got to be worth $1 billion plus, Skip.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and cut, just chalk it up. Hey, lesson learned. Next time, get a prenup. It's as simple as that, Skip.
They did not get a prenup.
They did.
They got married fast.
Yeah, they went in the old shotgun, went to Vegas. What about little white chapels?
Yep. Okay, so what I've told you about Jalen Hurts is you saw on full display yesterday. He's a natural-born leader. I thought he inspired the whole football team. I would say quarterback can have the most impact on a team, but a pitcher can in baseball too. Right. But a quarterback is long-term. It needs to be every 5 days.
It needs to be somebody that has the ball in their hand.
Right. Okay. So Jalen Hurts yesterday changed the way they play football, because you could see even the defense rose to the occasion before all the injuries happened. And they looked different on defense. They looked different on offense. All of a sudden, people are catching balls instead of dropping balls. Did anybody drop a ball yesterday? I don't remember one. All of a sudden, they were clicking at a high level because they thought, gee, we got a guy who's in command. He's in control of his own emotions, and he's channeling everything. All of his playmaking and winning intangibles are being channeled into positivity,
right,
and we're not turning the ball over. And I told you, the play of the game for me was when they got backed up 2nd and 11 at the 3-yard line, and I thought, this is jail time. This is where Carson Wentz has a recipe for disaster. And Jalen just quick play fake on the read option, and he has such easy speed outside and then such power to close a run.
And the thing is, Skip, they might have called that same play for Wentz, but Wentz could not run the defensive end.
No, he couldn't. And you have to be careful. And once you get stymied, would he go deer in headlights and lose the football in the end zone? Maybe.
Right.
Okay. Jalen had one late turnover, which was just a careless rookie mistake. You're killing the clock. They're going to punch. And he let the ball get punched out in the pile, and you just can't do it. And he will learn from that.
Right.
Because these guys are bigger and stronger than the Big 12 or SEC defense.
Skip, the guys have gotten so good at it. It used to be every once in a while you see Peanut Tillman, Charles Tillman, he's the best
he
I've ever seen.
Invented it, actually.
And now, Skip, you see every DB, you see every linebacker. That's the first thing they go. Sometimes they miss tackle, Skip. They let the guy run in the end zone to get a first down because they're trying to attack the ball. And sometimes you got to get the ball on the ground. But now, in a situation like that, getting you on the ground is unimportant. Getting the ball out is the most important. So they're going to try to punch the ball out. Like you said, he'll learn from that. But for me, Skip, I'm still undecided. My mind hadn't made up. Man, you better stop playing. You just beat the hottest team in the NFL.
Doug Peterson.
You just beat the hottest team in the NFL, Skip. They won 9 straight, and they had throttled everybody.
And you had lost 4 straight.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you were talking about you thinking about starting somebody else.
Right, and they'd gone 56 games without allowing a single 100-yard rusher, and your quarterback ran for 100, and your running back ran for another 100.
I tell you what you do. Go upstairs and tell your owner, Jeffrey Lurie, that you're thinking about starting Carson Wentz again and see what he tell you.
Yeah. Well, we did see a story before the game that Philly is still committed to go forward with Carson Wentz because I think they don't know what else to say. Right. It's like, well, you've almost... Your hands are tied. You have to be.
Skip, you could be committed in 2021, but you ain't committed in 2020. Moving forward, hey, this kid right here that won that game yesterday, I believe unless he's injured, and I hope that doesn't happen, I believe he finishes the season as the starting quarterback in Philly.
Okay, so what I love about Jalen's background over Carson's background is Carson always played at North Dakota State, and he played in big games on that level, but it was on that level. Not like this. Jalen started as a freshman at Alabama, played in a lot of big games. He had problems throwing the football, which eventually cost him his job. But once Tua started to struggle, he got thrown back in the fourth quarter of the SEC championship game against Georgia and won 14-0 and got them back to the championship game.
Correct.
Right? Okay, so then he goes to Oklahoma and he plays for the master, the quarterback whisperer and teacher, Lincoln Riley. And all of a sudden last year I'm saying, wait a second, the motion looks better. The position looks better. He's reading quicker, and he's delivering accurate strikes. And he's got a little above average arm. It's good enough to win at this level. And the point is that I think Lincoln Riley can work one. Because look what he's done now. We got Baker playing tonight, obviously, against Baltimore, and we got Kyler playing at the high level, obviously beating the Giants, who are red hot.
So we give it Lincoln, or we gonna give Cliff Kingsbury? Who gets the credit?
For Kyler?
For Kyler, Baker?
I think Lincoln gets a lot of the credit. I think he taught them all how to throw the football, and all of a sudden he's looking like the quarterback guru, right?
Yeah, Skip, I don't see a scenario, like I said, that Wentz. And the thing is, Wentz going to have to, Skip, he's going to have to stay healthy. I mean, he had this problem in college. He got hurt in college.
He did.
I mean, it's hard for a guy to get hurt in college and then come to the NFL and heal up. They play more games, they hit harder, and you're more susceptible to those kind of hits and those kind of injuries.
Well, I've told you, Kyler has that defense mechanism for sliding and staying out of harm's way. He got his shoulder banged up, and I think it's still bothering him.
Even on the slide, Skip, I mean, it wasn't like he was trying to take it. He was trying to slide.
Trying to slide. Jalen doesn't have the defense mechanism. He's just so strong that he can give and take some punishment. He's got to be smart about it.
But you saw him yesterday, Skip. He ran out of bounds.
He ran out of bounds.
Slid. That one he went up the middle. He slid. He fade.
But if it's 3rd and 4 and he needs it, he will try for it.
I think the running quarterback, look, if you look at Russell Wilson, Russell has done it better than anybody that's scrambling quarterback.
He has.
Russell ain't taking no shot.
No.
And I think everybody looks at RG3 says, this is what you don't want to do. You show two images. You show Russell and you show RG3.
Yep.
The one guy, you can play 10, 11 years and still play it. And the other guy, you'll be a backup and you say people asking, what could have been, what should have been, because he was RG3 Kyler Murray before they even set foot in the NFL. But couldn't slide, couldn't get down.
No.
Took unnecessary punishment, and here we are.
So maybe after one game I am overreacting, but I'm going to say that Jalen Hurts, game number 1 next football season, will be the starting quarterback for the Eagles. I don't know how they're going to get out from under Carson. I just believe they will.
Put 4 cases on it.
4 cases?
4 cases do.
Well, did you see what Nick Foles did in place of Carson in 2017?
I see what Trubisky did in place of Nick Foles yesterday.
Well, think of what Carson's been up against. A guy they built a shrine to in the locker room, Nick Foles, right?
Yeah.
And I agree. He had a big game. Trubisky did. Yeah. That was like the shock of the day. but the point was that Carson had to come back and try to fight through Nick Foles. And then all of a sudden, they take Jalen Hurts in the second round. And that happened yesterday. And now he's up against it again, where he's got to fight through this kid.
Well, Skip, you got to back him a little bit because they built the shrine for the backup quarterback, and so this was Fletcher Cox and Kelsey, Jason Kelsey. This is their way of showing we support you. But this should do Jalen Hurts really well. He says, if I can win over these guys, if a situation were to arise, they're going to have my back like they got Carson's back.
Yep.
And that's what I need to know, Skip.
Michael Vick made that point Friday on the show. But I think we're seeing, I kept telling you, Jalen Hurts is not a gadget guy.
No.
They kept trying to use him in gadgets. I'm saying he's a starting quarterback. Right. Taysom Hill still looks like more of a gadget guy.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Like he might be made ultimately more for that role than to be the consistent starting quarterback.
It's just hard for me to believe that he's better than Jameis. I just find that hard to believe, Skip. I could be wrong, but I don't believe he's better than Jameis.
Well, you would say he's more careful than Jameis as far as protecting the football, but now he's been fumbling it like crazy.
Yeah, it's a big difference, Skip, coming in the game and touching the ball 5-6 times a game as opposed to touching the ball 60 times a game.
Yeah. And boy, they miss the spark he gives them as the gadget guy.
Right.
When Drew was rolling, all of a sudden Drew had no ego to I'll go split out wide as a decoy.
Right.
Let him run a couple of plays, right?
But here's the thing, though, Skip, is that I can scheme. You're like, okay, he might do this, but Sean Payton each week comes up with a different way to get him the ball and let him do something differently. You're the quarterback. You're going to either run the ball or you're going to throw it. That's all I got to scheme for. And I'm going to come to get you because I don't trust your throwing ability. So I'm going to keep you in the pocket, make you throw from the pocket, and rally to the football.
No mercy.
Patrick Mahomes had a bumpy game against Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins yesterday. The Chiefs QB had nearly 400 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, but also a season-high 3 interceptions. Entering the game, Mahomes only had 2 picks on the season. It was still good enough for a 33-27 win over Miami. So, Shannon, could you please give Mahomes, your guy, Mahomes boy, a letter grade for his performance?
And be objective about this.
I gave him a B-, Skip.
A B-? I
gave him a B-.
How can you even go in the Bs?
I give because they won the game. So we will start there. And Skip, you look at, yes, he threw the 2 interceptions. They were down 10-0. And these were not no garbage yards. These were not empty calorie yards, Skip. They go down 10-0 and rally off 30 straight. That's what he's capable of, Skip. I mean, the throws that he makes, yes, Xavier Howard made an interception. That was one of the better interceptions. Indy had one also, got picked Waller late in the corner of the end zone. But Skip, I mean, for him to be, and they can't run the football, and this starting to concern me, Skip. I'm really starting to get concerned because 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 is an issue because Edwards-Helaire and Skip, and I said this from the beginning, he's too small. He's hard. On 3rd and 1, he's losing the yard. He's losing 2 yards.
16 carries for 32 yards.
32 yards, Skip.
2 a carry.
And basically, and it's like on 4th down. After the game the guys had, and he says, I don't care. You're our best player. I'm going to put the ball in your hands and go get it. And he went and got it. The throws that he's making, the throws that he can make. He had an off game, Skip. A B game, and almost got 4 bills. Let that sink in for a second, Skip. He's going to go for 5,000 again. And they're going to win the number one. They're going to be the number 1 seed again. I mean, 11.6 yards an attempt, the most since his MVP season. That's the sixth highest by anyone in the NFL this year. Skip, he threw 3 picks, and he got 33. Let that sink in. Now, you know Miami ain't no slouch defensively. We saw what they did to Jared Goff. They've made some very good quarterbacks look very average, very mundane.
Especially down there in the
Yeah, they get they get you in the Hard Rock. And he tweeted last night, man, I got a love-hate relationship with Hard Rock because he's thrown more interceptions in the Hard Rock than he has at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
It seems like that, Skip. But it just goes to show you just how good this kid is, Skip, that he can play that bad early and turn it around and win this ball game. And they won it because they couldn't run the football. They couldn't get any contributions out of the running game. And Andy just says, hey, son, do what you do, and he brought it home. So I gave him a B-.
Boy, I wish I'd taken your class when I was in college.
Hold on, Skip Bayless. You gave
a cakewalk.
Hold on, time out. You gave Tom Brady in a loss a B+ in a loss.
Was it a B+?
Yes, you gave him a B+.
You mean against Mahomes?
Yes.
Well, because he completely outplayed him in the last 3 quarters. That's 3/4 of the football game, and those are increasingly more valuable quarters, more important quarters than the first quarter.
Did you see what my homeboy did the second half?
When?
Yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then. Okay, that's why I got to be B-.
Okay, so I'm the one at this table who's going to have to be objective about this. And given the fact that for the last 3 years on this show, every Monday football season, I have to hear about my homeboy this. Transcendent thrower, the greatest thrower of the football ever. I thought it was Aaron Rodgers, but I think you've finally given up that ghost.
No. I mean, neck and neck. MVP, neck and neck.
Neck and neck.
Yeah.
So you got them like 50-50 so that you can cover your base on that one. So given the fact that you have set the bar all-time high for this kid, like he is the GOAT. You're already talking about him being the GOAT right now.
Yes.
He's played in and won 1 Super Bowl versus 9 for Tom Brady, with 6 rings on 6 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter overtime. And now you're saying he could be the GOAT. He's already better. Although some days Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT.
I mean, they jockey back and forth.
I can't keep up with this, but I can keep up with what happened yesterday.
Yes.
So in all objectivity, given the bar set all-time high, that was a pretty ugly performance. He put them in harm's way with 3 interceptions on the road.
Yes.
And because of that, I have to give him a D, as in dog, as in Alpo.
Hold on.
As in Alpo.
Hold on, Skip. Tell him. He put him in harm's way, but he rescued him. Your guy put your team in harm's way, and he didn't rescue you, and you gave him a B. How?
Well, he should have rescued if my defense could have stopped Patrick Mahomes with 4 minutes and 10 seconds left at Tampa. You can't make him punt one time. You let him burn the rest of the clock. Are you kidding?
Hold on.
That's not on Patrick Mahomes. That's on the Bucs defense at home.
I remember you used to applaud Brady, that Brady would play keep away, that he wouldn't let the team, and you never mentioned anything about the defense couldn't get the ball back. You commended Brady. Now Mahomes do what Brady has done for 20 years. Now you blame the defense. All I'm saying, Skip, yes, he did not play particularly well. But these 393 did not come in garbage time. They came, he needed every 393, and every big throw that he needed to make, he made when it mattered the most.
All I know is I've been telling you again and again that I've been watching this league for a long time, longer than you even played it.
Yeah.
And the one thing I know is this league will catch up to you, and it will eat you for lunch, dinner, and turn around and eat you for breakfast if you don't stay ahead of the game. Yeah. And he is getting to the point, he is so nonchalant, he is so careless with his throws because the world is telling him more. No looks, cool, off platform, off balance, don't care about your footwork, make throws, make arm talent throws, and this league will get you. Aaron Rodgers has, to me, a more golden arm than Patrick Mahomes does. Aaron can get away with the worst footwork I've ever seen a quarterback have. He has no footwork. Yeah. This kid is getting to where he's careless with his throws. And if we can see those 3 interceptions, it's one thing after another where you're not planting your feet, you're not setting your feet, you're not making a calculated throw.
Skip, look, he didn't expect the guy. The guy was on the ground, gets up and tips the ball. Skip, look at it. He was on the ground.
Yeah. Did you see the footwork? He's falling backwards on a little 8-yard throw.
He overthrew him.
And look at that. Did you like that footwork?
Skip, that's Skip.
Did you like that?
How
That's
many
just
times?
a bad throw.
How many times have we seen him complete that pass?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's true. He's getting away with it. And on that one, he sort of threw it flat-footed, and he just didn't put enough air
because he got him at the back. If he throws it at the back of the end zone, it's a touchdown.
He might have him. It'd have to be a really good throw, but he's made – that guy will catch it if you throw it somewhere up in there.
But you also have to understand, Howard is a big corner. So you're going to have to be...
He's not only big, he is really good.
Yeah, he is. He had an unbelievable season.
Yeah.
But that's why they paid him the big bucks. And to pair him with Byron Jones, so they play a lot of coverage. And to give them credit, like I said, Skip, you look at what they've gotten with Byron Jones and Howard at the corners, and the way Christian Wilkins and the way they can pressure the quarterback. But I mean, the dude went and got 4 bills, Skip.
3 picks on the same field on which he threw 2 big late interceptions in the Super Bowl and got away with it against Jimmy G.
And think about what he did. Threw 2 picks in the Super Bowl. He threw 3 picks yesterday. But at the end of the day, what happened? He walked out the stadium head held high.
They were so lucky that it was Jimmy Garoppolo in the 4th quarter of the Super Bowl, and it wasn't Tom Brady. It wasn't even Aaron Rodgers.
But hold on. But you also have to understand, what if he wasn't playing a defense as formidable as the 49ers were? Because you realize they had Buckner, they were healthy. They had Bosa, they had Armstead, they had Sherm. They didn't have these injuries that
Fred Warner, who got hurt yesterday.
They had everything. So just imagine if they didn't have that defense like that. Yeah, give them credit. They turned him over, but he found a way down 10.
Both the Super Bowl interceptions were careless, nonchalant. They're not focused interceptions. He didn't plant and make a definitive throw. He tries to do it like, I got this. I'm too cool for this.
But guess what, Skip? You notice 10 points in the blink of an eye. Now we saw what he did the Texans. 24, he score like 40 straight. We saw what he did to Tennessee. 24 straight.
Go back and look at the numbers at the Super Bowl, and I told you, Damian Williams was their running back last year. He opted out for COVID purposes, reasons this year.
Yeah.
You could make a case that he was the MVP of the Super Bowl. Go back and look at the numbers that he put up in that game. He gave you bang for your buck because he didn't make a lot of money, but he could run the football. He gave you a real threat at running back that currently you don't have.
First of all, the only case I'm going to make is a suitcase, and I'm going to ask you to pack if you say that again, that somebody other than
Williams made a case for Super Bowl MVP.
Well, I'm making a case for Le'Veon Bell to get more carries because he had 2 carries yesterday for 21 yards. Let L. But did you see Tyreek skip on that jet sweep?
Well, you had 94 yards. He got 32 on the jet sweep.
I mean, Skip, his speed is ridiculous.
Well, it's ridiculous. He's the fastest guy in pro football. It's not even close. It's not close. I give you that.
And he looked, I mean, I was like, oh, they got him. They're going to push him out of bounds. No, you're not. You don't even Skip, they don't even touch him. And the guy got an angle on him. He's right there. And he doesn't even touch him.
Yep. I told you, I tried to explain this. My biggest issue I think I ever had with Bob Stoops when he was the head coach at the University of Oklahoma was in the Bedlam game against Oklahoma State. He punted to that guy.
Right.
And I'm like, you can't do it. Don't punt it to him.
And he still could be the best returner in the game. And it's just like, nah, you too valuable on offense for me to run the risk. And then they got Mecole Hardman, who's another guy.
You saw what he did yesterday with a punt, right?
Oh, I can just imagine. Can you imagine what they're going to look like on that fast turf in New Orleans? That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a good one, Skip. My homeboy might throw for 5.
I hope he does, because that would get Tampa Bay back in that division.
Skip, y'all not winning the division.
Well, we might.
You didn't know you might not.
It's not over yet.
You know, the Chiefs are also the only team that have won every road game this year. I know things are looking different this season, but impressive to say the least.
No mercy.
Well, guys, Saturday, with a spot in the college football playoff potentially up for grabs, the Big Ten's best battle for the conference crown. Number 14, Northwestern takes on Justin Fields, and number 4, Ohio State in the 2020 Big Ten Championship presented by Discover. It all starts with the big new kickoff pregame show live on site from Indy, followed by the Big Ten Championship at noon Eastern, only on Fox. I cannot believe it. We are already to the championship. I'll be there, and I'm looking forward to it. Well, Tom Brady, guys, and the Bucs ended their 2-game skid with a 26-14 win over, yes, my Vikings. Brady had just under 200 passing yards to go along with a pair of touchdowns that included a 48-yard deep shot to Scotty Miller. So, Shannon, What letter grade would you give Brady for his performance?
I mean, he was okay. I gave him a C.
A C?
A C, yeah. I mean, they won the game, Skip. I mean, 200 yards? My homeboy remember my homeboy threw that to Tyreek in the first quarter. He played a whole game.
My homeboy threw 3 picks yesterday, and Tom Brady threw 0 picks and had 0 turnovers.
Skip. And my homeboy did all that and still had almost doubled him up in yards. As a matter of fact, he doubled him up in yards. Let that sink in for just a second. My guy threw 3 picks. Your guy was clean, got a clean bill of health. And my guy doubled him up in yards. And won, and had the same amount of touchdowns. So with that being said, and considering all things, Skip, this was not about Brady. This was about your defense. Your defense was exemplary yesterday. You know that.
Exemplary? Kirk Cousins was 4 of 5 on 4th down. That's exemplary?
Skip, think about what they were on 3rd down. In order for you to, they were 5 of 15 on 3rd down.
Yeah, and
that'll win.
Every time you needed to just say, that's enough, Kirk Cousins, he turned back into First Cousins.
Well, what about your guy? Your guy was 5 of 11 on 3rd down.
That's
Is that
pretty
good?
Yeah,
that ain't pretty good. That ain't good. That ain't good. If he the GOAT, like you say, 9 Super Bowl with 6 game-winning drives, and you only going 45%, that got to be in 65, 70. If you the GOAT, like you said, I gave him a C because I thought, Skip, it was just a mundane performance. It was nothing great. They won. Give him credit. They won. But
so I want everybody out in TV land to know that the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp just gave Tom Brady, the GOAT, a C for his performance, and yet via the ESPN stat called QBR,
yes,
quarterback rating,
yes,
they gave him an 84 yesterday,
5th best of the day,
which was the 4th best, tied for 4th with Russell Wilson, best of the week. Pretty good, 4th best, but you gave him a C for that.
Yeah, he only threw 23 passes.
Okay. He had the ball for a grand total of 21 minutes. So if we do the math, if he'd had the ball for the 39 minutes that First Cousins or Third Cousins had the ball for, Tom would have thrown for 351, and then you'd be saying, oh, I guess I'll give him a C+.
Well, you know what? If I'd had all the money that I spent on cars and watches, guess what? See, if I project out, Skip, you can't do that. Why do you
21 minutes is absurdly low to have the
football. Let me ask you a question. When he had the ball, what did he do with it?
Okay, I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
I'll show you 3 instances of what he did with it.
Okay.
First one's 3rd and 4 from the Minnesota 48, and this is when they're teetering on bye week to bye week here. And he steps up, little hesitation, let Scotty Miller get a step, and kaboom, right on the money. That's a big-time throw, but he got a C.
Hold on, Skip. If I'm not mistaken, that was in the 2nd quarter. Yeah. Why are they just not scoring in the 2nd quarter? Did he not get the ball in the first quarter?
Sweet throw. And
hold on, tell me.
The man across from me says that his arm has declined and he's got a noodle arm now. That doesn't look noodly to me.
I just want to know.
That looks like a cannon.
I want to know why it's the 2nd quarter with 7 minutes left and they just not getting points. Did they not get the ball in the first quarter?
Scotty Miller.
Did they not get the ball in the first quarter?
Yeah, they did.
So what happened? What happened to Tom?
So let's go to another one. That was, by the way, off motion, which they never run. This is play action in the 3rd quarter, and they never run play action. But they finally had a little running game they could trust and little play action. Oh, how good a throw is that to Mike Evans? Up the boundary, setting up another touchdown. Way to go, Tom. But you got to see. And then late in the game, Minnesota's rallying back into the game because Kirk Cousins has thrown for 300 3 straight games, and here he comes again, and they've been really tough in the 4th quarter. Look at that rocket he threw to AB on a little out route.
Skip.
That's 3rd and 8.
Skip.
3rd and 8?
Skip, first of all, the guy's playing off coverage. Tom Brady has a clean prop.
2 are off coverage,
let me ask you a question. Well, let me ask you this. Was Tom Brady, how does Tom Brady look when he's under duress? My guy was under duress for the lion's share of the game yesterday. They had sacked him, they picked him, they got a 30-yard sack against him. And he still was able to overcome. Your guy was clean. Did they touch him? The only reason Tampa is going to send his uniform out is because of COVID protocols.
No, they knocked him down 2 or 3 times yesterday. And by the way, he came into the game with the 3rd most hits of any quarterback in pro football, but Shannon Sharp says, well, he just gets rid of the ball, so he's tricking them. He's staying afloat at age 43 because he gets rid of the ball so fast.
No. What we're seeing is that a guy, when he was in New England and the offense was catered to what, and granted, rightfully so, he was getting rid of the ball quick.
It was.
But now that he has to hold the ball,
not so much.
Skip, he doesn't look. Does he look special? Does he look as good as Mahomes and Rodgers and Russell Wilson and Josh Allen? Does he look like that? No.
Did you see Josh Allen in the first half last night?
No, I saw. No. Hold on.
Yikes.
Hold on. Did you see the second half? Did you see it in the second half?
Was horrible.
No. Did you see the second half?
I did see the second half, but Josh Allen, the first half was just horrendously bad. He was throwing mystery balls where I'd say, "What was that?"
Hold on, but I thought you said it was 4 quarters to a game, so you measure the game in the totality.
That game turned on a pick six that Ben Roethlisberger threw, and all of a sudden the Steelers said, "That's enough."
What about that touchdown he threw? Now I told the Steelers cornerbacks about trying to trap everything, and you see Josh Allen look down at that play, look like that out route, and he pumped it, and guess what? They bit. Hit him in the back of the end zone. Stephon Diggs. The difference is that he has a guy in Stephon Diggs that can make plays for. And old Measley Beasley. Skip, y'all should have kept Measley. Y'all should have kept Measley because Measley doing it.
He still makes the case he's as good as any slot receiver because he's as quick as any slot receiver in all of football.
And what did he say? He said, I want to go somewhere where they believe in me. Y'all didn't believe in him.
No, he wanted to go someplace where they'd pay him.
No, y'all didn't believe in him. Y'all didn't believe in his route running, his football argument, and y'all didn't believe in his rap skills. Because, so he had to go to Buffalo and get with Benny the Butcher.
Yep.
So that's where he at now.
Hear anything about his rap career lately?
No, don't worry about that. No, see, there you go. You tried to undermine the man. Right now, he put his rap career on hold because he's working on this football thing. They're about to win that division up there and going to make a run in the playoff. But he said he's going to pick that thing up in the offseason.
Well, I did tell you before the year, I said on prediction day, if I had any guts, I would pick the Bills to win the AFC, and that would be over Kansas City, obviously. And I should have picked them.
You believe they can go to Kansas City and beat my homeboy?
They'll probably have to do that.
You believe that? That what you believe?
Well, you just told me how great Josh Allen is. I just think their team is really good and very well coached.
So in other words,
and by the way, you did pick the Patriots to win the East one more time, and that ain't happening.
Hold on, Skip. So let me get this straight. If Josh Allen does not beat Patrick Mahomes, therefore he can't be great. He can't have a great season. So Tom Brady ain't great because Tom Brady lost to Nicky Foles. He lost to Jared Goff. And he lost to my homeboys. Who else he lose to, Skip? He lost to Drew Brees twice. So he can't be great this year.
Tom Brady embarrassed Aaron Rodgers. And Tom Brady, for the last 3 quarters against Kansas City, outplayed my homeboy.
He lost.
Yeah.
My guy got one loss.
Your guy threw for a grand total of 104 in the second half. Way to go, Patrick.
Skip. He threw for 104, but ended up with 462. When the last time Tom Brady had a 460 game?
Your guy had the ball, what was that one, 37 minutes to 23 minutes?
We give you the ball, Skip, but you went 3 and out on 3 straight possessions.
No, we do no risk it, no biscuit. We just go bombs away, and sometimes they hit, and sometimes they miss.
Well, we go bombs away.
You get the ball right back.
We go bombs away, and we hit.
Tom Brady had a very good overall game yesterday after a rocky start.
So what grade did you give him?
I already told you I give him a B. I gave him a C, Skip. Okay, well, B, but you got to have some objectivity like me. I said he got off to a rocky start. He missed Gronk, and obviously he missed Godwin over the middle.
I just want to know how you grade. He throws 2 picks. They lose. You give him a B. He throws 2 interceptions. They win, and you still give him a B.
He didn't do anything wrong yesterday. He didn't turn the ball over.
Okay, but you gave him a B.
You've been killing him for turning the ball over.
But you gave him a B when he turned it over twice.
Okay, but again, they were behind. They're playing from behind, desperate.
He got him there.
When they have nobody who can cover Tyreek, who had 203 receiving yards in the first quarter.
Okay, what about when what about when they're mounting that comeback and he throws back-to-back picks? Boom, 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 boom.
Well, did he not cancel those out and get them in position down 27? He had 2 75-yard drives for touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
My homeboy said,
as usual.
My homeboy said, Coach, my arm tired. I'm going to save it for this third down.
Run this out.
Yep. Run it out on y'all.
This was a B performance, and you saw once again, Tom Brady, even at 43, is good enough to carry the Bucs to the Super Bowl. That's what you saw yesterday.
So y'all just going to run the gamut, huh?
We should win out, but it's tough to beat a division rival twice.
Man, Atlanta terrible. Stop saying that.
Really? Well, they've had their moments.
Very few and far.
Julio's back, right?
No, Julio did not play. Julio was out yesterday.
Was he?
Yep.
Yeah, he was out.
Well,
hamstring
he'll play
injury.
against
No.
It's
But your day coming.
all season, too.
Your day coming, though.
It wasn't yesterday.
Yeah, okay. Oh, you see how you were talking all big and bad. It wasn't yesterday,
You say that under the breath really quickly, but we do hear you, Skip, when you say that.
No mercy.
Aaron Rodgers Rodgers threw for 290 yards on 26 of 33 passing in a 31-24 win over the Lions. Rodgers also had a rushing touchdown to go along with 3 more through the air. It's the 4th game in a row that Rodgers has had at least 3 passing touchdowns. Impressive. You can't deny it. Shannon, did Rodgers take the lead in the MVP race?
I got him closing the gap, Skip. It's a cat whiskers now. And it's going to come down to the end because he's having one of those performances. I think it was a couple of years, well, his first MVP, Skip, I think he was 45-4. He had 45 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and he's on that clip. Mahomes is 33 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He leads the NFL with 324 passing yards a game. He has 500 more passing yards than Rodgers. He's 12-1, and I still believe he's the scariest player in the NFL. The Packers are now the #1 seed at 10-3. Rodgers is 39-4, leads the NFL with 39 touchdowns. Mahomes is 3rd with 33. 9 games this season with at least 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. 31.5, 31 points per game. They're 1-2 in scoring. So that's how close it is, Skip. And I thought once Russell stumbled, I think that, Skip, he had a 3 or 4 interception game. I said it was over. I said now it's a 2-horse race. And I think Derrick Henry needs to be, he pulling up the rear, Skip, but he's in the mirror. But right now it's between these 2 guys. I still would give a slight nod to my homeboy. But, man, Aaron Rodgers could easily be, with 3 games to go, another 3 touchdowns, 51 touchdowns with 4 picks. I don't know how you deny him. He puts up numbers like that. Even my homeboy can't catch him.
So I'm going to give you this about Aaron Rodgers. He is definitely the comeback player of the year.
We don't want that award, Skip. Stop saying that.
This is one of the great bounce-back seasons in the history of pro football because I'm going to remind everybody, just a year ago, he had his worst QBR of his career. He had a 54. Right now, he's all the way up at 85. So that's a 31-point improvement in QBR from a year ago.
He's second behind my homeboy.
That's extraordinary. And he led the day yesterday, led the week, obviously in the NFL, with a QBR of 89, albeit against a Detroit team that is home for the holidays, obviously.
They've been home.
They have been home, but they gave a little bit. They tried. They made it look good, and then Aaron took over. So I remind everybody that a year ago, he was 18th in QBR and 21st in completion percentage in the National Football League. He was also second in what we call throwaways after he led the whole league in throwaways in 2018. And those are just where you don't like it, you don't like it. I just throw it out of bounds. I'm not going to risk the biscuit on this one. Oh, right?
I wonder who led last year in throwaways.
Interesting. And he's 3rd right now as Aaron Rodgers in throwaways, but that's beside the point. So we look at his year and we say, well, I get your point about cat whiskers, but he's had some games that are head scratchers because against Tom Brady, he had a QBR of 12 at Tampa Bay and obviously jumped out to a 10-0 lead, then threw nearly 2 straight pick sixes. And for the last 3 quarters against that defense that everybody has been torching from Drew Brees, obviously, to Patrick Mahomes, he scored no points the last 3 quarters.
Right.
And then against Jacksonville at home just about 3 games ago, Jacksonville, he was stinking the whole game. He had a QBR of below 50, which is 45, which is below average. And that didn't look good on the resume. So he's had these that have, like, he should be running away with
the Minnesota game at home.
Yep, not great.
But Skip, for me, and I think the thing is, I thought you was going to say it was Aaron Rodgers in a landslide. I was going to say, what you told me, Aaron Jones was the MVP.
Well, I think there's another MVP emerging on that team. And by the way, let me finish up with, what's it now, 2 games back, was the game at Indy.
Right.
And remember, they're up 28-14 at halftime.
Right.
And they score, in the whole second half, they score 3 late points to get them to overtime. And they lost in overtime thanks to a fumble that wasn't Aaron's fault. But still, he was pretty awful in the second half of that game.
But you do believe it's between these 2 guys.
Yeah, it's coming down to these 2, but let's look at what they have in the way of quote-unquote help. Let's look at Davante Adams. Is he emerging as the best receiver in football? Because I think it's Tyreek, but the cat whiskers are between those 2 guys. Because Pro Football Focus now ranks Davante Adams #1 among receivers in just pure grades. And his 104 yards receiving a game, that leads the league. And 8.3 a catch leads the league. He is he's a monster, man.
He is.
I mean, he's just, every time I look up, they can put 3 men on him, and Aaron says, no, I got this.
But he's not the threat. He doesn't put the fear that Tyreek puts in people's skill.
Not from he's going to beat us deep.
Yes.
He's going to take it to the house. He puts fear in you that you just can't stop him.
He's a touchdown. But the thing is, but you look at it, Skip, Tyreek got 16 touchdowns.
Okay.
As a wide receiver at 5'9", 5'10", which is unheard of.
Devontae has 14.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Tanyan, I think Tanyan has, 9, 10 touchdowns. Scantling, when he holds on to the football, it's going to be very interesting. But there's another guy, you talking about Devontae Adams. That number 87 for Kansas City, Skip, he's a problem. When people say a problem, he's really not a problem because, see, problem you can solve.
You're talking about the tight end.
Tight end, Kelsey.
Yeah, I know.
He has issues. See, issues you got to sit down. You got to think of. You got
He's an issue because he's like a wide receiver.
Yeah, he's an issue.
Yeah.
You deal with Kansas City, you got issues. You got to deal with that offense now.
So you're making the case that Patrick Mahomes has the 2 best weapons in all of pro football together, that he has both of them, right?
But when did we think about them when Alex Smith had those guys? We didn't talk about them like we do since Mahomes got them.
I don't think Tyreek had emerged yet.
Tyreek was still Tyreek. Yeah, he was playing more return game, but you saw him on that Sunday night game against the Broncos. He took a punt back, a kickoff back. They threw him a pass, and that was the first time we saw the piece out. He started piecing out everybody.
Yep.
Yes, Skip, there's no denying their talent, but he takes them, he gets them to another level. Because everybody don't have the arm to reach Tyreek throwing the ball 50 and 60 yards down the field. It's going to be close, and I'm here for it. I got my popcorn ready.
Well, does anybody have a more consistent weapon from down to down than Devontae Adams? Because I'm not sure they do. As far as a threat from first down through third or fourth down.
Get what you call this dude, Kelsey got 600-yard games. He's like 8 for 136 back-to-back games on the touch. Skip, this dude is, like I said, he stringed together another 1 to 2 years like this, and they win another Super Bowl. Skip, we're going to have to rethink who the GOAT tight end is because we've never seen anything like this. This dude got 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He's on pace to lead the league in receiving yards. That's never been done by a tight end. Now, K Sr., Kellen Winslow Sr., came close. But, Skip, that's unheard of for him to do what he's doing. So
that's a mouthful from a guy who's in the Hall of Fame playing that position.
Hey, Tony put up unbelievable numbers, the longevity. I believe Gronk right now because the consistency, the touchdowns, and what he's been able to dominate. But if this kid string together another year or two like he's stringing together, Skip, he might have 1,400 receiving, 1,500 receiving yards for a tight end.
So are you saying that Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers' degree of difficulty are lower than most quarterbacks because they got the best weapons?
But
don't discount Aaron Jones, what he does for Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not so sure that someone could take these same weapons and get the same kind of production that these two guys. Skip, you can give me, Jeff Gordon, the same car and put us on Talladega or Daytona, and I can't beat him because he's just better at what he does than I am.
No, he weighs less than you.
Hey, when you got 800 horsepower, those stock cars are 800 horsepower.
I don't know.
So when you look at that, look, and guys Josh Allen's having an unbelievable season. There are a lot of guys having an unbelievable season. But these guys, I think they've separated themselves. Even Russ. Russ threw 4 touchdowns, interception yesterday, and I think he has 36, 37 touchdowns. But these two guys are head and shoulders right now.
Well, I congratulate Aaron Rodgers. He is my comeback player of the year. Way to go.
There you go. That ain't no war. He wants to win.
Yeah, he does.
That looks
Alex Smith got that one sewn
No,
up.
I think it's Aaron now. Because
Skip,
Alex was pretty horrible yesterday. I know he's come back from just...
The man almost had his leg.
I
The man was a couple hours from having his leg amputated. They're going to give him that award.
It is not Aaron Rodgers. We are moving
No
on.
mercy.
This week, Derek Carr and the Raiders are fighting for a shot at the playoffs, but rookie sensation Justin Herbert and the Chargers, they got the win yesterday, and they're looking for the upset. Thursday night football, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox, and also available on NFL Network and streaming on Prime Video. Well, the Raiders race for the NFC East is beginning to take shape. Washington was able to take the division lead with a win over San Francisco. New York fell back after dropping their game to Arizona, and despite getting a victory yesterday, the Cowboys are still in last place, right behind the Eagles, who also walked away with a win this weekend. So, Shannon, now, who do you think wins the NFC East?
The football team, Washington. They own the tiebreaker. They get Seattle at home, they get Carolina at home, and then they're on the road to Philly. Alex Smith injury does give me a little concern, Skip, even though it's his calf, and they said, it doesn't seem to be serious. I think it's on that right leg, the one that he had the problem with. So that's very concerning for me. But I still believe that even if he's not 100%, they can win one of the last 3 games, and that's all it's going to take. If they win one of the last 3 games, that means Philly would have to win out at Arizona, at Dallas, and at home at Washington. And I don't believe that's possible. And Dallas would have to win out San Francisco, Philly, at the Giants. When you get San Fran at home, Philly at home, and at the Giants. I don't believe they win out. So I believe it's Washington division to lose. Their defense has been unbelievable. And so that's what you can hang your hat on. That front 7 gets after people. And so I'm going to say right now, I'm going to say the football team, I don't like what the Giants did yesterday, Skip. They should have stuck with Colt McCoy because Daniel Jones was a sitting duck. And I don't know what it is, but maybe it's just me. But every time he gets hit, the ball comes out with Daniel Jones. Every sack, the ball is on the ground.
True.
And so that's concerning because I don't know how you increase and playing in that, Skip. It's always going to be cold. I don't know if he noticed this, but in New York, it gets cold. Late October, November, December, January, it's going to be cold. You're outdoors.
Yep.
And so I don't see it getting better, so I'm going to take the football team to win this division.
So for the last couple of weeks, you have picked the Giants to win this division, right?
Until Daniel Jones got hurt.
Okay. So allow me to say up front, this is the damnedest division in the history of pro football, and I use that word literally because I say damn this division for torturing me as a Cowboy fan this whole year. Usually when your team is 3-9 and playing a game on, what was it, December 13th yesterday, wouldn't you be way out of it at 3-9?
Oh,
wouldn't you be long home for the holidays?
Yeah.
And yet my team goes and beats a team that's even worse than it is, the Bengals or Bungles. And all of a sudden at 4-9, you say, gee, maybe you got a long shot, right? At least you got a mathematical chance, but I give them no chance. And it's crushing me that my team keeps winning games, such as that one, that it doesn't need to win because it's really got no realistic shot because it lost both games to Washington, so it doesn't have any tiebreaker.
Right.
If you told me it had the tiebreaker, I'd say, okay, let's go for it.
Right.
But it doesn't. So you can win out and you're still going to lose, and you're going to lose drafts places. You're going to tumble down the board, right?
Yep.
Okay. So now even the injury gods are wreaking havoc on the damnedest division ever because Alex Smith's got a problem because that's his surgically repaired leg, and it took however many, was it 19 surgeries, whatever it was, and now you got a calf issue, and you and I both know how those work. Once you have it, it's just tricky. And
the thing is,
it can come and it can go.
And it's not like he had a whole lot of calf to work with.
No, he did not. Okay, so that's an X factor, and Daniel Jones' hamstring remains an X factor.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, Philly's defense just got decimated down the stretch of that game yesterday. So they're going to Arizona against a defense that rose up against the Giants. And by the way, speaking of defense decimation, my secondary is just wiped out. 4 starters are out. Okay, so now I go back to Jalen Hurts. I think he's become the X factor here. And I'm not going to be shocked. This is just me. And I love me some Jalen Hurts. I will not be shocked if he figures out a way to carry them to 3 victories and they win out.
Wow.
The problem is at Arizona is going to be tough depending on how much of the defense is gone because Kyler's going to light up what's left of this defense, I fear. So Jalen's going to have to light back up a Cardinal defense that came back to life after about 3 bad games in a row.
And who's going to deal with DeAndre Hopkins?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I know who it would have been. It would have been Darius Slay, and is he going to be out?
But Skip, what also concerns me about Kenyon Drake need to hold on to the football. Skip, he fumbled the ball like 3 times yesterday, and he got it back every time. And Kyler looked to the sideline like, are y'all going to take him out? Are y'all going to get him out because he about to cost us the game? I believe that Jalen Hurts could beat the Cowboys. But the likelihood, I mean, I'm sure someone's going to lay some heavy money on Fox Bet that the Cowboys win out, Washington loses out, and
Seattle, Carolina at Philly.
I don't see Carolina.
I just don't
beating
see Washington losing to Carolina.
I don't either. Skip.
Sometimes Teddy Bridgewater will rise up and play a game that you say, where did that come from?
But, Skip, they don't pressure the quarterback. No. I mean, Drew Lock was like 21 or 27 for 4 touchdowns yesterday.
And there was a reason, because he had no heat on him.
He got no heat.
I agree.
So, yeah, I don't see, not like you said, but Carolina, we saw what they did, Skip. They put the biggest scare in my homeboy.
They did. 33-31.
Yes.
And Bridgewater had a better QBR at Kansas City than Patrick Mahomes.
They could rise up, but without McCaffrey, Skip, and are you gonna risk bringing him back for a couple of games?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I say beware of Jalen Hurts. He's going to decide the East one way or the other, and it may come down to that game Washington at Philly would be the conclusion.
So who you like?
I got to give Washington the leg up right now, just because, to your point, their front seven is it's like Super Bowl good,
yes.
right? Like it's like that good,
yes.
right?
Yes.
No mercy.
Well, Baker Mayfield and the 9-3 Browns host Lamar Jackson and the 7-5 Ravens on Monday Night Football. Both teams need the win as they continue to jockey for playoff position. So, Shannon, who wins tonight? Who you got?
Well, Skip, they played week 1, but these are 2 very different teams now. I think the Browns realize who they are. They are a running football team and allow Baker Mayfield to play action off that. Their defense has gotten better. That front four, Myles Garrett, Olivier Vernon, is doing a great job putting pressure on the quarterback. I'm going to take the Browns in a very close ball game because if I'm the Browns, I'm making Lamar Jackson beat me throwing the football. I'm not going to let him and Gus and those running backs rush for 200, 300 yards and carry me and not let my offense on the field. So I'm going to take the Browns in a close one.
Ditto. Do you realize Baltimore is a 3-point favorite at Cleveland? So Baltimore is the better team, but Cleveland is playing better right now than Baltimore.
Yes.
And by the way, 2 ex-University of Oklahoma quarterbacks had big days yesterday. So I say Baker will have a 3rd big day to cap it off and make it a trio tonight against Lamar. So at Cleveland, I'm going to go 27-24 Baker over Lamar just because they're a little hotter.
Well, Baker's going to definitely have to play better than he did his first game. He was 21-39 and had less than 200 yards passing. But this is not what they are. They are a running football team, Skip. And when Chubb and Hunt can run the football and allow Baker, because that's what Tennessee said, we dare you to let your quarterback beat us. Baker says, okay, I'm going to beat you.
This. Yep.
So can Baltimore force Baker to beat them and then put enough pressure on him or pick him off when he puts the ball up? That's going to be the question.
Yeah. Baltimore, Baker against Baltimore has had some big games against them as a rookie starter, remember? And last year he had one huge game.
That was the only good game that he played all last year, but it was outstanding.
Yep. So here we go.
Yeah, here we go. I'm looking forward to this one. Good stuff today, guys. Packed Undisputed. We will be back same time tomorrow morning with reaction from the game tonight. Have a good day, everyone.
Skip and Shannon, skip their hop and took these boys